And just like the wind tells me, it is time to go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your host, Johnny Hellcat, and with me today are Minions the Hey Camel.
Hello.
Della Hayes, who is quiet now. And our traveling exhibit today, I guess we can go by Matthew, I guess would be the...
Yep.
Censure.
Matthew, well, Matt is fine. Matthew is usually when I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I have people... Oh, there he goes. We lost Della for a bit, and he'll be jumping back in a little bit. But yeah, fighter of the red pill retard. And that's putting the definition very loosely, because like it's its own brand of Special Olympics over there. Like, it is amazing what I've seen you dealing with some of these people.
Oh God! You know what? I didn't actually run into the red pill. Okay, so little backstory. Red pill actually came. Do you guys know what MGTOW is?
Yes, we are aware.
Yep.
Okay. So red pill came from the MGTOW. Kind of red pill took over MGTOW. So I've been aware of these idiots for a while. I actually did videos on them. One of them named Sandman, who
We are aware of Sandman as well.
Yeah, legitimately believes that vaginas are magical, like X-Men level mind controlling powers. But red pill came.
Matt, are you aware of Ranting Monkey?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's how we all know of Sandman.
It all stems from Monkey. So,
well, red pill came from them, and I didn't realize that was a thing until I came across a stream from Destiny who was talking to Rollo Tomasi, the godfather of the red pill. Who
bugs me that he took a name. That's from LA Confidential, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, that's
IMDb. He wrote a book called The Rational Male.
Yes.
And what I think is hilarious is I had done a video on Pearl because she is the dumbest son of a bitch I've ever met in my life.
She's the only person I've seen that's made Ethan Klein look not completely retarded.
Yeah.
Ethan Klein destroyed her in a debate. Put that one out there.
That's really sad.
But I did a video on her, and before I had ever interacted with Rollo, he blocked me. I can't see what he's saying, which I don't mind because all he does is promote his shit book. I can't see what he's saying, can't see his little clips, so it's pretty funny. I'm trying to work on getting as many of these idiots to block me as possible, and I've succeeded in getting 7 of them to block me as of last week. So okay, here's how it goes. I play a character. That's my avatar. His name is Antoine. He is snarky and he is British. And it's fun.
All right, pause.
Yep.
Give us the accent. Come on.
I have an avatar too, if you want me to set that up.
No, I just want to hear the British accent. I want to hear how bad it is.
Listen, I can tell you right now
God.
I have fooled more British people who I've talked to on stream.
No. Were they drunk?
No, Bering was one of them. I wouldn't call him British. He's Aussie.
I was gonna say, I was like, that's
Roy from Very Nearly Viral. He's definitely British. Sargon of Akkad. I have fooled many people.
I'm picking up some irate Alex here when he does Lord Bear.
I'm not hearing Lord Bear there now.
Well, Lord Bear puts the stank on it, but I can hear essentially irate Alex on there.
I know who Alex is. I've never watched him, but when I started, a friend of mine did. And I actually conversed with him about getting set up. So I know who he is. I never really watched any of his stuff, but I have to give him a shout out for helping me get audio things situated and shit like that. This was way, way back when. But yeah, I play a character. He's very snarky. And apparently that comes off in my tweets. So what I've tried to do is I do try to talk to them first. Like I have tried, and some of them do. And one of them that broke my heart, and I really wish you would DM me, is so the red pill is a horrible, horrible, toxic, and I hate using that word, but what it is what it is, a toxic ideology. This kid said he was a genetic dead end. You don't hear that from other people.
Wow.
You don't pick that. You don't pick that up in school. He's a young teen, not young like 14. Or I'm talking like young adult. He's 18, 19 years old, and he believes he's a genetic dead end because he doesn't reach the values that Myron from Fresh and Fit and Pearl and Rolo and fucking Andrew Tate put out there.
Ugh.
He heard genetic dead end from them, and he believes it. And I told him, please, because I tried to DM him, but his DMs weren't open. And I just put in the reply, dude, please DM me. You don't need to be saying this stuff in public. You know, this isn't going to help you. And it's heartbreaking to hear shit like that. And that's why I do this. Like, not for him, but because there's so much garbage that they put out. And I don't want to say there are very few people that are talking back, but they're not heard because we're not as big as them. The only person that I know that has gone against the red pill that's bigger than them is Destiny. And he's done with them. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He has put all of them in their place at least 3 times each. Like, people need to listen to what actual, statistics and actual facts of what they're talking about come in.
I had it, Camel. I had it.
You sure about that?
Kinda.
Sorta.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we
Thank
can.
you.
You missed hookers and nudity and like all these things that were going to get us kicked off of YouTube, but like Susan Wojcicki came in and was like, "No, you guys are cool."
No, it's not Susan anymore. It's Neil.
Shh. I don't.
I thought that's just what he does.
Forward.
She wants you to believe it's Neil.
Oh,
What?
just a puppet on a string, huh?
It's because
Yes.
because I don't want to get yelled at, but I still want to do
I
the
like
work.
I like what Rotten said in chat. He said that's why I like Kevin Samuels. He didn't talk shit about regular folks. Kevin was actually he was from Oklahoma too, originally.
Well, before we go a little bit further, because I do recognize some new people, which I believe Matt brought along with him. We'll say hi to the people in chat. Tier, how's it going? James Colley, Rotten, Terry's there. Kashul, Ishtar, which I believe is your wife, right?
Yes, that is.
Yeah. I paid.
Regardless of what people think about me being an incel, I am married. Have been for a while.
Yeah, and what's really funny is like the one that really got me was the poster picture of your wife. You post the picture of the wife. Oh, sure, that's your wife. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah, Red
Pill
Sports Pill. Oh
yeah.
my god. Yeah, he got mad really quickly. He's one that I tried to talk to. Like before that started, I met someone recently. His name is Rattlesnake Cowboy. He just happened to kind of show up in one of the threads that I was replying to I think Myron, and we started up a conversation. Come to find out, he is a former Red Pill, and he saw where the ideology was going, didn't like it, got out of it. He said he's stated a couple times that it turned him into a really horrible person. He didn't like that. He's trying to make himself better. He said something to Red Sports Pill and like Red Sports Pill went off on him. And I saw one of the retweets and I kind of just went, how is that him running away? Like, how is him going to bed and sleeping for 8 hours and then coming back to say something to you, running away from you? And he tried
for the week. That's why.
Apparently. He tried saying, well, you're just coming at me because it's your boy. And I'm like, no, I'm asking you a question. Do you not understand this? So he dropped it.
You sweet summer
And-
child, asking genuine questions on the internet. How silly.
I know it's something that I probably shouldn't have done, which brought us to a couple days ago. He's still going after Rattlesnake, and I see him say that he was having sex and stopped to respond to a Twitter notification, and that he can do both.
All right, fellas, judge's ruling. Is that gay or not gay?
You know what? For science, let's do a poll.
I was just looking at like the panel, like the because I'm
I-
voting.
oh.
That's supremely gay.
Oh, that's incredibly gay.
mean,
I would
and no
I would
offense
say
to any of our members of chat or anybody in the future that might find this that are of the homosexual variety. I'm not talking about you folks, but we all know what I mean.
yeah, it's it's so gay. It's his closets have closets. I mean it, but like one,
Gayer
I
than
didn't believe
8
that
dudes
he.
blowing 9 dudes.
I didn't believe he was having sex anyway. But so I couldn't help myself. The snark came out, and I went, "Did you really just admit that a Twitter notification is more important to you than having sex with a woman?" And that's how the fight started. Like the old meme of, and that's how the fight broke out. Because I apparently like rustled his jimmies, if I want to use old slang, so bad
That one.
he just went nuts.
Russell his jimmies. Are you
That
gonna tell us about how you used to wear an onion on your belt next?
no, it's funny because when I read that actually broke me a bit because I'm just like I'm trying to picture that. Like, I can only imagine him finally getting a girl to at least cave and let her touch it, and he's just like, "Hold on a second, I got something to do." Phone. Okay,
I mean,
let's continue.
The only way it could have been gayer is if he'd stopped for a Reddit notification.
Facts. Like Okay, so as I said, Ishtar is my wife. I have gotten notifications in the middle of us having our fun time. I ignore it because I'm doing something. Like Twitter is not that important. Even if you're making money off it, like say you're Tim Pool, and you're making $1,000, even as little as $1,000 a month from Twitter. A notification is not that important. Like, I mean, are you fucking serious? How do you come back from that? Like, you're telling the girl that you're fucking, you are so unimportant that something on my phone is interrupting us.
I had a moment, and it wasn't even just my phone was going off. I think I had retweeted something that was actually gaining traction before. I think it was one of the I was a tag along for it, and so everyone was liking what I was retweeting. So it's like, okay, cool. And then it was around the time when everyone was starting to live stream, so my phone was just vibrating for every possible reason. And we were in the throw of things, and it was so distracting that I just threw my phone across the room because I'm like, I'm not paying attention to you. Like this is a us thing. This is not a them thing. So
yeah,
like no, like dude.
So if anybody in the chat, or if you guys ever interact with these people, understand that the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to call you a simp. Do you guys know what a simp actually is?
What the actual acronym is supposed to stand for?
I forget the acronym, but I know what it means.
Suckers idolizing mediocre pussy or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So a simp is someone who, what's her name? She's now streaming on YouTube. Pokimane.
This is the internet cardboard. Everything's an acronym.
To be honest, I didn't even know it was an acronym. I just thought it was a short for simpleton.
I did too at first, and I got learned really quickly.
Simple again. Are we gonna start talking about like how it's the cat's simpleton. Pajamas next? What's going on here?
It's the bee's knees.
Hey! I was gonna say bee's knees is the proper term. Cat's pajamas. Listen, young folk, you calm down. I honestly thought when I first heard it that it stood for simpleton, because it was always used as an insult. A simp is like you pay thousands of dollars for Pokimane's attention, and if she gives you just the small, that's what it is. It's you're so desperate for attention that you'll pay money to get a woman's attention. That's what a simp is.
Like, have we gotten so bad with the internet generations that you can't even have the dignity to just rent a whore like proper folk?
No. No, you can.
No. Especially. Oh, and well, we'll get to that. And so that's what the first thing they're going to call you.
Ignore the background. The elephants are coming through.
No, that's fine.
That's a really, really rude thing to say about your wife, Johnny.
Well, and her kids.
You're lucky she doesn't listen to the streams.
Yeah. Of course.
I would have gotten Johnny in so much trouble if she had, Matt.
Oh, way. I'd take a permanent resident on the couch. Like that's.
I don't know how it works, but no matter what I say, my friends are the ones that catch the shit for it. It's been like that since college, at least.
Your friends laugh at you. Laugh at the joke that you made. That's why they're in trouble. See, I got lucky with Ishtar. She used to stream with me, so she got all the shit. Like, she's got a great sense of humor. She'll give it back to you just as much, though, so be careful. But the first insult that they'll go for is simp. And
because it's the easy
especially one. Especially if you agree with a woman. Like that's so paying money to get women's attention down to if you agree with a woman, you're now a simp. Simp has been watered down so badly by the red pill idiots that it is now just as bad as being called racist or sexist on Twitter. It means absolutely nothing. So
I would love to be called a simp by one of Pearl's fans. I think that would just be beautiful irony.
all you have to do is respond to one of them. I take that back. Have a female avatar and a female name and respond to one of them. You'll get them calling you all sorts of things. If you're a guy and you say something even halfway intelligent, they ignore you because they can't face up to you. Because, well, you're more dominant than they are. I'm being nice. Okay, so my very first video, I ended up deciding to do more instead of what I normally used to do, which was just kind of point out internet stupidity and make fun of everybody. I ended up seeing a tweet from Myron that just kind of got under my skin. And instead of doing it on Fresh and Fit, because all they do is stream, and most of it is him screaming at OnlyFans girls, I checked out the replies.
I feel like I've seen that before.
And there's...
because of that whatever podcast or whatever.
Yes, Fresh and Fit and whatever are basically the same exact thing. Just one has black dudes, one has white dudes.
Except for only one of them has called was it Preach an ape.
Yes, and that would be Myron.
Yeah. Because he's the pinnacle of intelligence.
I have a theory about the whole ape thing. Have you noticed that a lot of these quote unquote alpha male douchebags all use like monkey or ape or gorilla or whatever in their avatars or their names?
Mm-hmm.
I love making
cripple, so he doesn't do anything like that.
I love making fun of them when they take the gorilla because the gorilla is supposed to be the pinnacle of male testosterone, right? You're supposed to be, one, they can get taken down by a grizzly bear. Two, they also have the smallest penis of all mammals. All of their muscle, no balls. I'm like, that's wonderful. You are a perfect example of what the red pill ideology is.
And they
you
spend all day
douchebag.
eating plants too, so.
And sniffing their asshole.
But I did a video on these, the responses instead of fresh and fit, and I came across this guy. His name is Average Asian Joe. He is in every single reply thread of Pearls. I have called him out a few times, and today I retweeted him and said it is Pearl's biggest simp. And then I answered his question about MGTOW not wanting to have anything to do with women, and he asked about, because Pearl's thing right now is conservative or tradcon marriages.
Yeah.
She'll shift 2 days from now. And he asked, what about passport bros? Well, passport bros want to get married. I think I have badgered this man so much, he actually liked my tweet. He liked that I called him out. I don't know if I hurt him or if I broke him.
Or
Either of them are possible.
Something made a synapse fire.
Possibly.
Like, oh hey,
Like,
he's right. Like,
kind of reminds me of that Canadian dude I had a few years back, Johnny.
oh fuck that guy.
Wait. What Canadian dude?
Not Della, different Canadian.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Speaking of memory lane, I found a couple of screenshots of his shit too.
Back when I was first on Twitter, because I'm a late adopter to everything in life. I don't think I got on Twitter until 2018, 2017, and I just wanted to start fights because I was bored and it was funny. And this one dude he had an American flag and a Canadian flag in his bio, but he swore he was an American. I was like, I was like, I don't believe you, because he said holiday instead of vacation. I was like, yep, Canadian. He's a foreigner. Opinion automatically discarded. But argue about politics and stuff, and I've since gotten very, very burnt out on that shit because it's just exceedingly stupid.
It gets very tiring.
But yeah, like I got under this guy's skin so bad. He was following other people that were following me just to argue with them.
Oh, you picked up a stalker.
Yeah. And what was really funny was like one of the members of our Discord, like, he posted a screenshot. He's like, "Can you guys help? Like, he's like he keeps bothering me." He's like, sorry, dude. You're on your own, man. I don't know what to tell you. I pissed off a guy so bad he started annoying other people.
Yeah, I have a couple of those. One of them hates me so much because I just don't like him that in one of the Discords I'm in, my nickname was changed to his high school bully. Because that's the only reason they can think of why he hates me as much as he does. Is I bullied him in high school.
And yet he keeps you around in his Discord?
No. This is someone else's Discord knows of him, and
okay.
I'm not going to say his name because if I say it, he's going to show up and shit all in your chat. But
technically, this is my chat. What's his name?
His name is
joking,
Vlad.
I'm joking.
Well, he used to go by Vlad. He goes by something else now. But my name
Ivan.
in this
Okay.
my name in this Discord is Ivan's high school bully. I don't know why he hates. I do know why he hates me, but it's fine. You get this with when you tell people stuff they don't want to hear, and you pissed someone off so bad that they decided that your friends needed to pay for you. I'm not even joking when I say this. You don't deserve like a participation trophy. You deserve an actual medal for troll. Like that's great. That's a perfect thing to give an example of how pissed off someone can be because of this shit.
Well, the problem wasn't necessarily that I was trolling. It's just I was right and he was wrong.
And his arguments were so elementarily stupid that it's.
Well, here's the thing. When people send me when they cite me sources for their bullshit arguments, I got a lot of free time, so chances are I'll probably read it. And 9 out of 10 times at least, it doesn't say what they think it says.
Well, that's because all they do is read the headline. They read the headline. It says something that they think,
yeah, like
bolsters
this guy,
their argument.
Like this guy tried to cite because like I said, politics bouncing around everywhere, and he tried to paint me as a Trump supporter. Never voted for the dude. I just think it's funny how everyone runs around like their hair's on fire because of something he said.
Yeah.
It's not that I like Trump. It's just I hate his opponents more.
And to be fair, that's how Biden won the last election. More people hated Trump than liked him, so they fucking voted for him. And now they regret
people
it.
don't actually show up to vote for things they like. They show up to vote against things they hate.
Mm-hmm.
That is the American way. We don't vote for you because we like you. We vote for you because we hate the other guy more.
That's not exclusive to America. It's how Trudeau got elected too.
Yeah, well, we started it,
Yeah, that's fair.
1776, democracy and all that,
Yeah.
I wasn't saying
all
anything about that. I was just saying it's not just you guys. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to.
Listen, fuck your tea. You still have the queen on your goddamn currency.
Look, I can't help where I was born, okay? Fuck, quit rubbing it in.
No, see, Della, he's one of the good ones. He measures everything in freedom units and everything.
And
okay.
I didn't even realize there was people who didn't realize you call it a vacation instead of a holiday. That just makes sense. Like, call it a fucking vacation.
But no, like he one argument with this guy, he it was about immigration. And he cited me, I think it was like a government accountability office or some other 3-letter soup, agency.
I think this might sound a little familiar.
Agencies.
And I read it because he was trying to say that illegal immigrants are a net positive to the tax base, not a net negative. I was like, bullshit. But so he links me this GAO report from 2007. It was so old they were still saying that there are only 11 million illegal aliens in the country.
I think we got that many last month.
And yeah, when you actually looked at housing costs, medical costs, education costs, yeah, they all they all cost more than they brought in. So I was like, did you even fucking read this, man? No, apparently not.
Yeah, it's the so the thing I got today, not today, but yesterday. Have you guys heard about? You might have, Hellcat. You might have because you've been seeing my stuff lately. The women only like 10%, or are only attracted to 10% of men, or only like 10% of men. This is an
argument about hypergamy?
It's basically. So it's a study that that red pillars like to cite that was done by OkCupid. What OkCupid did is over 2 years.
Hold on.
Yep.
First of all, OkCupid, I'm pretty sure is on the internet. And what is the rule, chat? Nothing on the internet is to be trusted.
Well, I wouldn't say
Not
it's
even
on
me.
the internet, but it's I mean an app, I guess you could say is on the internet, but it's a dating app, a dating site. They took all of the swipes and everything of all the women and all the men for about 2 years. And they put out a graph. And for the women, it's a high peak, and then it drops drastically because they are attracted, according to this, to the top 10 to top 8% of men. That's how many people they swiped right on the most. Whereas guys, just like with intelligence, it's a curve. So really low, not low, but lowish on the beginning, goes up in the middle, and then drops down gradually at the back. Because men tend to go for, let's be fair, anything that'll give us attention, we'll usually go for, even if it's bad for you.
All I'm getting from the study is that 90 to 92% of the men on OkCupid are fugly.
Probably. I don't know. I've never been on there.
I plead the
Neither
fifth.
have I. I'm just going based off the numbers here.
I
If you
plead
need to
the
resort
fifth.
to a dating app, there's probably a reason.
So what they like to do with this study is use this as a cudgel to throw at people, going, this is why only women only go for a certain amount of men, the high value male. They only go for the alpha chads. They only go for the ones that are built, that are so built and bulky that they can't wipe their own ass. They make 6 figures to 7 figures a year.
And those are the ones you'll see on the TikToks who are like, nah, they need to make at least 6 figures.
Yeah. So they used, what this actually shows is that men have a well-rounded attraction to women, which is fine. But it also shows that women do have a higher standard for what they find visually attractive, and I have to state that, visually attractive comparatively to what they'll actually go for. So I used an analogy of a restaurant. So if you knew that you were going to get exactly what you wanted to eat, regardless of what it is, if it's Wagyu beef or lobster tail or pulled pork, whatever it is, you know you're going to get it, and they bring you out something else, you don't eat that. You don't have to. In this analogy, you swipe on it, it goes away. They bring you out something else. Until it's what you want it to be, you don't swipe left. That's all it is you are giving your choice of what you want. And women have that ability because, let's face it, dating apps, dating profiles, they have always been geared for women. Women have the pick of the litter when it comes to things like that. So a woman is going to, of course, go after the ones she finds most attractive. Are they successful? Probably not. Because we all know the things that you think you want usually aren't what you want. And a lot of times it's a catfish. Because, as you said, Camel, never trust the internet. Ever. Like, the term catfish came up because of the internet. The term troll came up because of the internet. People doing this shit specifically to fuck with people.
I thought the term troll came from bridges.
Well,
No, the term troll for the internet troll is actually considered trolling, as in trolling for shit on the bottom of the lake, that type of trolling, because you're casting your line out trying to catch whatever you can. It's literally been destroyed by today's standards of what it used to be. Like, I hate to sound like the old school fucking 4chaner, but I'm sorry, 4chan was the best trolls back in the day. Now they're all pussies. Like, it's instantaneously, let's call you something horrible, and that's how they get you upset. I apologize now. I talk a lot. I've been doing this for a very long time.
you're missing Sanguine here. It's fine.
I was just taking a moment to see if I could rustle the jimmies of a member of chat. That's all.
Oh, go for it. You rustle away.
No, Rotten's he's a buddy.
But I remember I was talking with a bunch of my coworkers at my night job. I showed up a little bit early.
Oh, I miss those days, Johnny.
And we were talking about types. And they're like, oh, I like this kind of thing. I like this kind of thing. And they're like, well, what kind of girl are you into? And I go, will she talk to me? And everyone thought that was a joke. And I'm like, why are you guys laughing? Like, because
it's true. It's true for a lot of guys. It's very true.
My dick has led me places that I wouldn't go to with a gun.
I'm right there with you, brother. Believe me.
Plead the fifth.
Which means you're right there too. You know.
Actually, my wife is right
He
there.
just has shame.
Actually, my wife is right there, so I really can't announce my history.
I have stated this a few times. I have hacked my way through a briar patch of psycho bitches, and
that's a Titus line, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
See, you are now a soulmate of mine because you know that line.
Well, back when he was still funny, that's when Rockwell was bleeding.
Yeah. Yes. I actually. Oh, you're gonna get me off on a tangent here. Okay, I have met him. I have legitimately hung out with Christopher Titus. This was when he did his Neverlution tour.
Yeah.
So I got to go. I got to go to the taping of that for free, second row. It was awesome. We were the late show. He did a 2-hour set, and to the point where he was losing his voice because he just kept going. Before that, when he was testing the material out for Love Is Evil, I went to go see him at an improv, and we were the last ones in line to greet him on the way out, and I didn't have anything for him to sign. He was giving away free autographs. He's like one of my favorite comedians of all time. I run back into the improv, get one of their shitty paper fucking menus of overpriced food and drinks, and me and my former friend Brad are the last two with Christopher Titus and Dave, like his best and his actual friend, the one that they made fun of on the show.
They used on the show. Oh wow!
Yeah. So we just started talking to him, and he hung out with us after a late show and talked with us for like 30 minutes, and not just oh, these are fans, I got to talk to them. Like, he legitimately talked to us. And it got to a point where me and my friend Brad started to actually geek out because like, holy fuck, it's Christopher Titus. He's talking to us. And he called us Titus Geeks because we knew Norman Rockwell is bleeding better than he did. Like, he forgot shit.
I actually used that in a debate and drama competition.
Really?
We had an event called a humorous duet. Me and another guy. I took the pilot for the show, which is based off Norman Rockwell's Bleeding.
Yep.
And I condensed it down into like 10 minutes because that was the time limit.
Nice.
And we won first place.
And so you should have.
We beat guys that were doing Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Because
Titus.
Because everyone does Monty Python and the Holy Grail for those things.
Yeah.
To be fair, yeah.
I got so sick of hearing the fucking like coconuts sound. Every month there's at least 2 motherfuckers doing that.
Like, Titus was ahead of his time, and then unfortunately, I don't want to say he went woke, but like he went really anti-gun, which is kind of funny.
He is from California.
He is from California, which is, I mean, the whole anti-gun thing, aside from the fact that his mother took his own life with a gun, she saved herself by using a gun. Like,
it's in the fucking stand-up, yeah.
Yeah. But his show was fucking ahead of its time, which is why it got canceled when it shouldn't have. His comedy was fucking top notch. Like, even him making fun of Trump, I don't care if you make fun of Trump. I really don't.
Just be funny.
Yeah, just make it funny.
Everyone was making fun of Trump. The only thing is, like, none of them were funny about it.
Be
funny about it, and I'll laugh.
And it's the same
Trump
jokes.
makes fun of himself.
The worst part about
Trump makes fun of himself.
The worst part about the Trump jokes is that it was all the same joke. How many times can you hear a joke before it's like, yeah, it was funnier the first 1,000th time that I've heard it?
And then, of course, Kathy Griffin with her holding up a severed Trump head. I don't know what the joke of was that, but, like, it's ruined her career. That's how bad it was. Like, she's out there trying to do her comedy now, and she is begging people to show up. I have seen Kathy Griffin stand up from back in the day. She was a funny bitch. I'm sorry, she really was. The same thing with Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer's first stand-up is hilarious. Her second stand-up special is hilarious. Like, I had my sides hurting because I was laughing so hard. And then she decided she was going to go fucking nuts and do nothing but pussy jokes. And just kind of went gross. And it's like, you can do gross humor, that's fine, but there is a limit. And when you start describing your own pussy as smelling like a barnyard animal, I'm sorry, you've lost me.
It wasn't just pussy jokes. It was also I'm a whore jokes.
That too.
She balanced it out a little bit just between those two categories, though.
And the stealing jokes thing.
Yeah, she also got caught stealing jokes.
Though even the jokes that she stole were typically either genital jokes or whore jokes.
Or black jokes.
Or black. Yeah, fair. That's fair. I used to deliver pizzas, and this is how I got to know about all these comedians. I used to deliver pizzas, and I stopped. I hated listening to regular radio because it was the same five fucking songs over and over and over again. And then the hour would fucking go, and then the next DJ would be like, "Let's listen to this." I'm like, I can only hear Chop Suey so many fucking times before I want to throw my radio out of my car. So I switched over to AM. And there used to be a show, or it used to be a channel. It was AM 970. And this is in Southern California. It was comedy. Wall-to-wall comedy bits. I heard so many comedians. So I was enjoying my day. You go trying to listen to that show, or that station now, it's political radio. And I'm like, you guys fucked it. You had a great thing going, introducing all these comedians to people who listened. And I told everybody about it. Like, if you want to hear funny shit, listen to this station. They play bits. Yeah, they're censored because it's AM radio, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
Like, it's all these people just were awesome back in the day. Like, one of my favorite. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I had bumped into a friend of mine, and I actually have a series of videos or live streams called "Torture is How You Make Friends," where we listen to. It started with a New York Times article about these are the stand-ups that you should be watching, and the first one, of course, was
Nanette.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Nanette.
Hannah
Is that
Gadsby.
the one?
Netflix special.
Oh God,
Yeah.
the entire special of a joke that's not a joke. It's just her trauma dumping in front of everybody.
Her
Yes.
doing
That's the one.
anti-comedy. Yes.
Yeah. And it started with that, and it kind of just branched out from there. And it used to be, let's listen to this, to the people on this list and see how shit this is. And then it became, is there a funny female comedian out there? Because, like, the stuff that they're releasing is just garbage. I
have one for you.
There is some good stuff out there.
I think we only had one guest that actually laughed at any of the stuff.
2.
And that was Poe.
Yeah. And which is shocking coming from Leslie Jones. It wasn't actually that bad.
No, really not. That just shows how far gone Poe is. He was laughing at... That man has stared in the abyss way too long.
Yeah.
And he's only like, what, 22?
He's 23, I think, now.
Yeah.
But, no.
Oh, kid, you're going to be smoking when you hit your 30s. God.
But way back when, I had actually... when I had first gotten my car, it had the satellite radio, and I would always listen to the comedy shows because it's something you don't hear anymore. I didn't have cable, and so I didn't have Comedy Central back when it was actually playing comedy. And
you mean good?
Yeah. And there was
oh God, Johnny, that's the new metric, isn't it? Like, I used to think I was old because I remembered when MTV played music videos.
I was just gonna say.
But
I remember when they
They
came out with
MTV.
MTV2 because they had
It's
to have a
MTV.
place. Yeah, MTV2 came out because they wanted a place to play music videos, and they swore it wasn't going to change.
Oh man, like 10 years ago, I was
And then
I was
Fuse.
at the lake with some friends, and just listening to I don't know, I think it was Pandora. You know, just streaming music on my phone, and I like the classic rocks. That's mainly what I grew up listening to. So this kid, you know, just walks up the dock and like, hey, you know, tries to start talking. He's probably like, I don't know, 12-year-old kid. I was like, where are your parents? What are you doing? Leave me alone, you know. But yeah, just trying to like strike up a conversation. And he's like, what are you listening to? I was like, oh, it's, you know, this band. Like, oh, is that new song? I was like, no, not even this. That song was like published like 20 years before I was even born, and it blew this kid's mind. He's like, well, like what kind of music did you grow up listening to? I was like, stuff like this. I don't know, whatever they were playing on MTV. He's like, what? I'm like, MTV, you know,
You grew
music,
up listening to
television?
the Room Raiders theme song?
He's like, they played. He's like, they played music videos on MTV. I'm like, yeah, the M stands for music, kid. He looked at me like a fucking unicorn.
But it was funny.
This is how fucking. I was gonna say this is how fucking old I am. MTV came out on August 1st, 1981. They were preparing for my birth the next day.
Oklahoma, Tulsa was a test market for MTV to see how it would play in the, you know, the South and Midwest and whatnot.
Flyover states.
Yes, yes. So like,
Go.
we actually we had it in Oklahoma. You know, good long while before everybody else.
But
That's the first time that you've ever been able to say that, isn't it? That you had something in Oklahoma before anyone else?
I mean,
they had Chuck Norris before anyone else.
we used to have the whole country. Yeah, we had Chuck Norris. Yeah, Gary Busey.
Well,
we had
by
the
that metric, we
slutty
also
Golden
had
Girl.
Drake music.
She's from Oklahoma.
But yeah,
I can keep going. There's quite a few people actually that we have claim on.
To get back to that story before I lose track of it, I had bumped into a friend of mine the night before who was completely off her knockers, insanely drunk, and being vultured by like 70-year-old guys. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna pull you out of there, and you can get your hangover at my place. I don't care. Like, this is gonna turn bad for you, and no.
Yeah, there is nothing more shamefully horny than a pensioner with a sildenafil prescription.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. The place that has. Do you want to know why the percentage of STDs by average is so high?
I work in a
because
nursing
of.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
nursing homes.
nursing homes. The old folks don't give a fuck. They get Viagra, they get horny, and that's it. They will go room to room.
They go at the same time. They're already 1 foot in the grave and one on a banana peel. They might as well go out with a smile.
Yeah, like they.
The cancer and the AIDS can have a race.
Real quick to touch on female comedians. So we talked about the downfall. I have one that I can guarantee will make you guys laugh.
This is probably one of the
Elijah
two that we.
Elijah Schlesinger.
Oh,
She's not bad.
I mean, she's all right. Yeah, I've laughed at some of her stuff.
So I
My go-tos are Kathleen Madigan and Maria Bamford.
see
Those are my two favorite female comedians.
You say Kathleen Madigan and like women and feminists just kind of recoil in horror because she gives no fucks about anything.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
One of the funniest female comedians out there. Joan Rivers used to just punch and punch and punch. Joan Rivers was a funny bitch. Like, and everybody knows her now as just the E lady that was out on the red carpet. She was one of the prime female comedians out there that was just not giving fucks to anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
I used to be a fan of Caroline Ray. You guys know?
Yeah.
oh
that
yeah,
name?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah, like I mean, as a kid, she was the funny aunt on Sabrina, and
Yep.
then I got a little bit older and I found her stand up from before that. I was like, oh, you are a dirty bitch. I like you even more.
Yes. It's the Bob Saget effect. You got so used to seeing her on there, and then you hear her stand up, and you're like, oh
She
shit.
totally Danny Tannered me. Yeah.
Bob fucking Saget, rest his soul, man. The first time I heard his stand up blew my mind because I had only known him as Danny Tanner. This really wholesome, down to earth father who loved his family, did everything, and the shit that came out of his mouth.
He was the guy that brought
Wow.
you video.
It
Every
was-
week
yeah.
brought you videos of dudes getting hit in the nuts. And he
It's
was awesome.
Danny Tanner and
Yep.
America's Funniest Home Videos. Like that is what you have, and then and
You
then
hear
and
his
then the next
and then you have the aristocrats.
and then the next line you
Right.
hear is, "Hey, did you ever suck dick for marijuana?" It's like, no.
Oh no,
I've
you
seen him do it.
You're here for marijuana. I used to suck dick for smack.
No, it was Coke, wasn't it?
No, he said smack.
Oh, okay.
I
always
had
forget.
stoner friends.
I've always just
God, I
added
had to watch
different
that fucking
drugs
movie.
just to fuck with people. So I've completely messed myself up on that one.
Yeah, I had stoner friends when I was younger. When that
You ever
movie
see a
came
$20
out.
bill? You ever see a $20 bill on weed?
Like, oh god, I had to listen to so much.
Growing up, I just wanted to quit a job like Scarface. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you. I'm out.
The person that I'm curious how pissed off she was when all the female comedians went to the I'm a whore style of comedy is Lisa Lampanelli. She was the pioneer of I'm a whore.
Yes,
Right?
yes, she was. Jim in the chat brought up Judy Gold. She was another one that was
Yeah.
just. I could probably. I can't name her bits, but I can
I
guarantee
remember her
that
face,
fucking
but I don't remember any of
Schumer.
her stand-up.
But most
Yeah.
of her stuff, like topic wise, was mainly family and being Jewish. Much like Kathleen Madigan is like family and being an alcoholic.
Yep.
Okay, well, I can relate to family and alcoholism. I can't relate to Judaism, all right? Sue me.
So, Cardboard and Games.
All you need to do is get your tip snipped, and then you can relate a bit more.
Hey, I didn't
So
have a
cardboard-
choice in that, all right? Nobody asked
Cardboard and-
me.
Actually,
Cardboard and Games. I know him as Dark, so I'm going to call him Dark. Dark is talking about Sarah Silverman.
Yes,
He's
we
talking
watched
about Sarah
two.
Silverman now.
second episode is
Did we watch two of
a
hers?
speck of dust.
Sarah Silverman now sucks. Sarah Silverman 15 years ago? Holy shit. Yeah, funny as hell.
I was never
It's-
a fan. She never did anything for me. So
I wouldn't say she was one of my top, but she was pretty good. Like, she was pretty funny. I remember her being like one of those that they would always go to about, like, just she would be the female comedian that they would bring on.
When I say funny as hell, I don't mean like she was up there with Carlin or anything like that. I mean that she was a good, solid, working comedian where
Yeah.
you laughed more than not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You guys know who Don Rickles is, right?
Yes.
yep.
Okay, I don't have to explain Don Rickles. My wife, Ishtar, did not know who Don Rickles was.
For shame.
Oh.
I just looked him up on YouTube. As soon as we were done watching what we were watching, I searched for Don Rickles and just picked the first greatest hits. And the first thing it's him running down Reagan. And then it goes into the roasts. And then it goes into him just talking to the crowd. And I'm like, you didn't go to a Don Rickles show and try and heckle the man. Because if you did, it was your funeral.
It was like having
Well-
if you tried to heckle him, it was like having the Eye of Sauron on you.
Well, and like Rodney Dangerfield, he would like.
Oh, yeah.
If he felt like he was losing focus, he would track people to like provoke them into heckling him.
Oh yeah, and once you started the heckling, man, it was over. You were done. Like you heckle them once, and this is a fine art to the point where with all the roasts of like Sammy Davis Jr. and all that shit, they brought Don Rickles on to make fun of them,
Yep.
and he didn't hold back. Like the amount of black jokes that man got away with. Today they would shoot him. Don Rickles wouldn't give a shit.
I did love Dangerfield and Little Nicky. Just for cardboard and games there.
The old school pull-up
go with my grandfather.
Well.
Go with my father.
That was the thing about Don Rickles. Fucking no one was safe from Don Rickles. Didn't matter what fucking group you were a part of. If you let him know what group it was, he immediately had an insult for you.
Oh yeah, and
black immediately launches into his black jokes. You're a Polak, immediately launches into Polak jokes. You're a Mick, here's all his Mick jokes.
Yep, and he gave no So Ishtar asked me, he couldn't do his stand up now. I was like, no, you don't understand. If he was still around and he was able to do it, he'd be doing his bits now and not give a fuck about anybody trying to cancel him. Like
he would be doing his bits as they're trying to take off his head.
Yeah, like there could be a mass of protesters storming his stage, and he would be pointing out each and every one, talking about blue hair this, red hair this, whatever it is, and just they would stop, they would cry, they would crumple. It would be his ammunition. Mm-hmm. Like he would be their example of words actually hurting somebody. Like, and unfortunately, only a lot of people are just going to know him as Mr. Potato Head. And
how many of you guys are familiar with D&D?
I love D&D. I'm actually going to be starting a campaign next weekend.
He's the prototype for vicious mockery.
I was going to say,
yes,
I'm not opposed to D&D. I've never actually played it, but I mean, I don't feel responsible for that because in high school I was getting laid.
Well, not all of us were fucking special, all right?
Well, it's like Titus said, I'm a very pretty man, so.
The only strange thing is that he was special.
Maybe I should get on OkCupid. I can be in that top 8 to 10%.
Listen, I was playing Magic the Gathering in high school, all right? Just to let y'all know, I didn't save a single card.
I'm just joking. Like I said, I have nothing against D&D. I've just never had an opportunity to play it. If there were a group, doing a campaign when I was in high school and they invited me, I wouldn't have touched a boob until at least college. Okay.
See, he was playing Magic the Gathering in high school, so when he heard that there was a V card, he went, "Oh, what pack?"
Listen, seriously though, if I knew then what I know now about Magic the Gathering, I would have fucking saved so many cards.
Oh yeah.
Like I never bought the original sets. I started in 4th edition. I'm sorry, I'm showing my nerd cred from there, but I would have started buying alpha and beta and just bought the shit out of them because I'd be fucking rich. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's D&D is fun. It's why I have the character that I play for HFTG Archives. He actually started as a character from a game session that I was part of. Like, I was talking as my normal voice, and just one night I used to work graveyard shift security, so I'm in a fucking patrol car looking for people to tow. Which, let me tell you, being a security guard doing tows and shit at night was the most cathartic fucking job I've ever had because I got to be an asshole. I didn't have to worry about being nice to nobody.
But I used to get that working as a overnight cashier at a shady convenience store.
Oh, I've done that too.
I clocked in every night saying, "Is this the night I get stabbed?" So yeah, I mean, like I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but one night I decided, you know what? How would Antoine react to this? And this was back when like Gamergate was going on. So how would Antoine react to like Brianna Wu? And I just went into the character and mindset and fucking went off. And I was like, you know what? That was kind of fun. I'm going to put that in video form and see how it goes. And believe it or not, the character took off. People started watching the videos more, and it just went from there. But I got asked to the accent. So I reached 500 subscribers a long time ago, and I promised the people who are watching that once I hit 500, I would do like a Ask Me Anything live stream. By the time I got set up for that, I actually had 750 subscribers, and it was my second live stream I'd ever done. I had Jeff Holiday on my very first live stream that nobody watched.
Oh, wow.
It was just me and him shooting the shit, me talking to him about what he was doing, and it was when he was really starting to get big on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody was there. No, not even my friends that were subscribed to me showed up. I was like, well, that's fine. I don't care. So I did this live stream. I did this Ask Me Anything live stream as the character, and I was kind of doing that whole even behind the scenes. I would talk in character, just kind of trying to make it real, right? And one of the very first questions, I think it was the third question in the chat, was, "Is that your real voice?" So I ignored that question for a very long time, and then the same person asked it again and was like, "You didn't answer this. Is that your real voice?" And I dropped it, and Bering was in the chat and said, "You've got to be shitting me." And I had him on when I got a show together like you guys have with two of my friends. We had him on our second episode, and he basically said, "I had no idea you were American." And I knew from that point on, I was good at that. I have other accents, but Antoine is who I drop into easiest.
It's actually kind of funny because Bering has yet to reply to my request to be on a stream. And that's going on. Let me check the calendar. 3 years.
I didn't even know he was a subscriber. The first thing I was a fan of Bering early on, and it was the first time he got yeeted from YouTube. I did not a save Bering thing, but kind of a joke, kind of bring him back, and brought up this is why he got kicked off, and I got a bunch of bear footage of them like beating people up or chasing down cars and things like that. And I tagged him on Twitter on it, and he retweeted. He retweeted it, and when he got his channel back, he didn't do a shout out on his channel, but he put it in his liked feed kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I got a bunch of subscribers from that. And apparently that's when he started watching. And it was when I was really, really small. And he apparently was in the streams, and he showed up in our second episode in the chat, and I was like, "Dude, do you want to come on?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, send me a link." So I sent him a DM with a link. He followed me on Twitter that moment and showed up, and we shot the shit for like an hour. I will say, I remained composed and did not geek out like I did with Titus, so I consider that a win.
I imagine it's probably easier when you know that they're an ocean away there. And it's just on the internet.
And if you are hearing,
well, that's the thing. Like, you could be an ocean away from me. I know you're not, but you could be. But we're talking, and it's this thing where because we're talking and I can see your avatar on screen, it's more of a personal thing. That's why a lot of people get. This is my theory anyway. Going back to the whole internet thing, this is why my feeling is that people get so pissed off on Twitter. Is they identify with what their avatar is or whatever it is, and they see that other person, and they forget, because it's just text, they forget that someone is there. They forget it's someone else. But when I'm talking to them, and I've believed to this since I started my channel, if I could talk to someone, I could reach common ground with them. Because you can't read context in tweets, right? You and I could be talking, Hellcat, you and I could be joking back and forth, right? We know each other's sense of humor. We get it.
Yeah.
Some rando sees something that you say or something that I say, and they take grave offense to it. And they tweet it out, and we're horrible people, we're racist, we're sexist, whatever it is. You and I kind of go, what the fuck? But that person doesn't understand because there's no context behind the jokes, right? I'm getting to know you guys now. I see you on Twitter, and I just, hey, motherfucker, what's up? You know, I'm just messing with you. Someone else could take it as me being aggressive towards you. So my theory has always been, if I can get you to talk to me on stream, whatever, you will realize that there's a person there. You will realize that we may be worlds apart, but because we can hear each other's voice, we can see each other on screen, whether it's avatar or not, you can then reach somebody. And I know it sounds fucking fruity, it sounds, whimsical and shit like that, but it's true. I have gotten people on stream to talk to them. I've gotten them behind the scenes to talk to them, and we settle our differences. And I don't consider them friends. They don't consider me friends, but afterwards we're cool.
What is
like,
this
it's
maturity
not that hard.
that you speak of?
I try. like I told you guys, I'm fucking 42 years old. I'm too old to be doing some of the stupid shit that I actually do on Twitter. I know that, but my job right now allows me a lot of free time, so I get to have fun on Twitter. And everyone has a phone in their hand that has the app, so it's really easy to just kind of look down, tweet something out, and be done with it.
Oh yeah, like that dude I was telling you about earlier. Like, I would just fuck with him on my free time, like at work and stuff. Just like come back, 20 minutes later, it's like, oh, you said some more dumb shit. Okay,
And you say that it sounds a bit strange, but at the same time, it's something that has been researched a fuck ton, and it's something that you find in some really good old stories as well, because it's been known for an age. There's de-individuation, which is something that allows people to do horrendous shit because it's not them doing it, it's the group doing it. And yeah, they're part of the group, but it's not them, it's the group.
Or because someone else did it first, it's okay.
Yep.
One of the best examples, I had this example today. We had a traffic jam. Something they legit shut down the freeway. Police, everything shut down to where they were redirecting people off. I don't know if it was a huge accident or what, but people drive on the median to bypass everybody waiting. As soon as one person does it, you'll see like 4 others do it.
Yep.
Because they're like, well, he did it. It must be okay. So if he gets caught, it's not my fault. He did it first. It's a whole mentality,
officer.
And
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, and then that doesn't work.
What happens is that when you're dealing with a group that is de-individualized, one of the best ways of getting someone to be more sensible, shall we say, is to re-individualize them. So that's what you're doing when you're having conversations with someone. It isn't just someone in a crowd. You're going, you. I'm talking to you. Not to everyone else, to you. This is... And then you have the conversation with them. Or
you basically humanize yourself to them, and then they can't look at you as just some rando on the screen. You're actually talking to them. And
not only are you humanizing yourself to them, but you're pulling them out of the group, out of the crowd. So it becomes, rather than anything that I do, just the crowd doing it, to, oh shit, he's realizing that anything I do, I am doing.
Yeah.
And
then
the poll has spoken. Not only is it gay, it's 69% gay.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. But like I said, this is something that is even in a lot of literature. Why am I blanking on the name of it?
1984?
No, Scout, and the father is the lawyer.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird. There's the great scene where the entire town has formed up in effectively a lynch mob
to go after Boo Radley.
Yep, and the way that it's dealt with is each person in the crowd is named as they're being spoken to. So it's not all of you get out of here. It's Bob, I see you there, Bob. I know what the fuck you're doing. Get the hell back home. You know this is wrong. Sally, don't think that I don't see you either. And it's each person getting called out in turn so that they snap back to themselves rather than just being part of the group and being swept up in being part of the group.
Yep, and a perfect example, literary perfect example of the mob mentality of that and not being able to humanize is Lord of the Flies.
Yep.
I was forced to read that when I was very young.
Yeah, I had to read that for freshman English, and I fucking hated it.
And the perfect example of what they do to Piggy.
Yep.
And they other him, make him evil, and then it's okay to kill him.
Well, see,
He has something. He has something that they want and that they need. He's not giving it to them, which is his glasses. It's okay to get rid of him.
The first day of school, I realized that my freshman English teacher and I were going to be mortal enemies because she didn't appreciate the fact that I pointed out that entire book was complete bullshit because that exact scenario played out and those kids lived a good long while until they were rescued.
Yeah. It was just the initial when they got.
Now, if they had made it a group of girls, I could believe it. I could suspend my disbelief.
Well, there's some evidence that you're not entirely off when you say that, because there was, I'm trying to remember the name of the show where it was
Survivor.
Was it Survivor? Okay.
Yeah,
yep,
they
did men versus women.
Yep.
Men versus women, and by the beginning of the third episode, they had to integrate the tribes because the women would
have died.
Well, there's another.
The women were so far behind, and the men had housing. They had relaxing. They practically had running water.
And
there was another one other than just the Survivor one, then, because there was one where it was same thing. They split men and women on 2 different islands, and it was.
I think Survivor went long enough. They probably tried it twice. Like that first time. That
probably.
Was
so it might have been an earlier season, but it was. They separated them. They never intervened on the male island. On the women's island, within the first few days, they intervened because one person was about to die. They had just completely forsaken collecting water. So all of them were profoundly dehydrated. One of them was so dehydrated, they were going to die if there was no intervention. Then they intervened. They got that person back in shape. They sent them back. By this time, the men had already started up water collecting from rain. They had started up water purification processes. They had established shelters. The women had just barely found their first encampment. The men had set up their permanent encampment. Then it went on a little bit longer. The women almost poisoned themselves with rotten meat. Then, rather than purifying the container that they had used to store the rotten meat, they threw out the container while they were still already dehydrated, rather than boiling water in the fucking thing to clean it, and then using it as their water purification container. So they went from 2 large water tanks to 1 water tank, which was not sufficient to actually maintain the number of women that were there. And
it's
at the end, it was the men had a fairly sophisticated camp. And they tried...
That's how it usually ends up, though.
Yep. And that's what I was saying, that they comment that, well, if it was a group of women or a group of girls, then it might have been the case. Yeah, the women the entire time were fighting amongst themselves on their island. There were a handful that were actually doing the work. There were a shit ton that were just lazing about. Whereas on the men's island, it was very much you pull your weight or you're fucking gone.
Can I just break in with some breaking news here real fast?
Sure.
The fuzz got Hootie.
Oh, yeah, I
Darius
saw that.
Rucker arrested on drug charge near Nashville.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Any words on if Blowfish is still fine?
Did you
I mean,
know
come
he
on,
turned
man.
Did you know he turned into a country singer?
Yeah, actually, he's pretty
He's
decent.
pretty
too.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised he had drug charges.
I
Like,
mean,
come on.
It's country music. It's not gospel. I mean, fucking Willie Nelson, for Christ's sake, come on.
Mhm.
I mean, how many songs did Hank Williams Jr. write about being fucking stoned? Cut this dude
All
a
of
break.
them. Oh, he'll get a slap on the wrist. We know he's gonna get unless it's something like fentanyl or heroin. He'll be fine.
I mean, my guess is it's Tennessee. Like, do they not have legal marijuana? I'm guessing it's some weed, maybe a little blow. I mean, who's judging?
You know what? Let me check.
It wasn't detailed in the report, apparently.
Well, we can always check to see if Tennessee has marijuana legal.
You know, I would probably pay attention to The Great Gatsby if they had Dangerfield reading it. Like, I only know like one small section of like 50 Shades of Grey, and that's from the Gilbert Godfrey. Man, I wish they'd made that a thing.
My loins quiver.
Yeah, they need to get one of those AI voice things on that.
It
Stat.
is. It's been requested that you do Tomas.
Why do you gotta do this to me, Ish?
As because it's your wife. She's the one to request it.
See, no offense, but like when you said Antoine earlier, the first thing I thought of was In Living Color.
Yeah, Antoine Merriweather.
Well, you see, it's not that hard to think of that because, well, I came up with a name to actually go after Ace. ACE was another character I used to play, but this is Tomas. I'm working on it to get even better, but I have had some Scots tell me that it's actually a lowland type of accent, and they said it was pretty good. So
All right,
I
now
can't
say
argue
Purple
with
Burglar Alarm.
Purple burglar alarm. You're an
Okay,
asshole.
that does
That's
sound,
what you are.
that sounds kind of Scottish. I'll give you that one.
If anyone, Tailed,
So,
Tailed
okay.
would be able to help you out with that one.
So doing accent, like doing Antoine's accent at the beginning was very trying because I wasn't good enough to say certain words yet.
Mhm.
So like the word full. Saying full is actually really hard if you're starting to practice your accent because you want to say it like an American, which is for. You can't have the hard R. So I would say certain things in my videos to avoid saying certain words. Now, I've been doing it long enough that I can pretty much say whatever the fuck I want and have no problem saying it. I can laugh, I can cry, I can be angry. It's all actually pretty fun. The people I was telling you about earlier who hate me and like go after people that I've met on Twitter and they're like, ooh, this person's horrible, you need to do things. Their favorite thing to do is tell me that my accent sucks. And one of the reasons that they really try and hammer that home is because Eagle, the one that Ivan, the one that I told you about, was fooled by it so badly that he actually was speechless when he found out I was American. And the only reason I had to come out to him as being American is because one of his co-hosts started asking me about soccer, and I know dick all about soccer. So I had to kind of be like, all right, I'm actually from California, sorry. And they're like, oh my fucking God. I'm like, yeah, it's a character. And one of the group that I did that with, I am very good friends with to this day. Ivan, on the other hand, has had a hate boner from me since. So I call myself a voice actor specifically because I do act with my voice. Playing Antoine, playing other characters. I was doing radio plays on my streams. I had a show called Cringe Book Club kind of how you guys did your whole comedy thing. It started with someone paid me money to read to read 50 Shades of Grey. They were like, how much have you read 50 Shades of Grey? And I was thinking, no one's going to want to hear me read 50 Shades of Grey and pay $100. So I said $100. And
Do you want to
one
tell
of my fans, one of my fans, that before my stream was over, had DM'd me and said $100 will be in your account tomorrow. And I went, fuck. So I read the first 3 chapters.
Missed out on that Who Got Roaches Her Crib. I should have held out for money.
Oh, it gets better. Cringe Book Club started because of Lena Dunham. Lena Dunham had her biography. So Ben, his name is Ben. He's a fan of mine still to this day. I hate Ben. I respect him, but I hate him. Said, how much to read Lena Dunham's autobiography? And I had learned from the 50 Shades of Grey to bump that number up. So I was like, no one's going to want to hear me read Lena Dunham for $300. That's a lot of money. So I said, Ben, I will read Lena Dunham for $300. I kid you not, 30 seconds later, I get a super chat for $300. I went, son of a bitch, you got to be kidding me. You want me to read this
Ben,
shit?
there's a loophole here that Google takes 30% of that. I did not get 300.
Oh, it gets better. Technically, I did, because the first session of me reading that book, he sent me $200 for pain and suffering.
Man thought ahead. Wow.
Yes, like his super chat was, here's an extra $200 for the alcohol you're going to need and the therapy for afterwards.
No, I'd done a stream last year.
Yeah,
Year before. No, it was 2 years ago now. A year and a half. There's a independent self-published author by the name of Quan Mills, and Mills with a Z at the end, so you know he's legit.
That's right. You deleted them.
I did delete them because even though I don't really do anything on my channel, I still like having one. I did this whole series on this one book called That Hoe Got Roaches in Her Crib, because I saw screenshots of the cover art for some of his books, and I thought they were hilarious. These are some of the worst Photoshops I've seen in a while. And the title by itself was funny, so I called it Judging a Book by Its Cover.
Oh, some of these authors you definitely can.
Oh, it was kind of hilarious for like the first few chapters. It was hilarious, gross, disgusting, but funny to me, at least. And I had a group of friends sit in. I think we did like 4 streams.
I think 4 or 5.
And we're doing like 3 to 4 hours a pop. I was losing my voice by the end of each one.
Yeah, I think I did 3 hours for a couple of them, but like for Lena Dunham, the only thing I could do 2 hours was max, and my throat was just raw afterwards. And well, yes, I would saying in the chat.
I had to have like people on stream with me, because like I'm sitting here reading through these chapters, and I would stop after each chapter just like, so how we feeling about this, guys? Well, and also it allowed me to have like pee breaks and stuff, because I had to sit there and be drinking stuff to keep my voice completely going.
Oh yeah. I think it took.
See, I thought for a second there.
Go ahead.
For a second there, that you were going to say I had to be drinking things to avoid just offing myself.
I do believe that while we did those streams, I did get some super chats just so that people would have me drinking booze.
I did drink. We turned okay. Lena Dunham turned into Cringe Book Club. The first story that I had heard, I'd never heard of it before, was someone told me about My Immortal. Do you know about this? You know about this story?
I've heard about it in passing. I have never actually taken the time to I think Weibo did.
That book is like 90% fashion shows.
Yes, she is amazing at describing, but we turned that story into a drinking game. And the rules started to shift near the end of it because things kept... So at first it was because they were short chapters.
Mhm.
So anytime you finished a chapter, we had to take a drink. And then it became anytime she described clothing, we had to take a drink.
Mhm.
Anytime the characters cut themselves, we had to take a drink. Anytime... Oh God, what were some of the other ones? Anytime the characters had sex, like bad sex, we had to take a drink. Someone said you should take a shot every single time there's a typo. I said we'd be dead. Like, so Ishtar does voices as well. She's actually an audio narrator on Audible.
Oh,
just
dear.
letting you guys know.
Oh dear God, the character's name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway.
Ravenway. Yep.
Yes, and it goes from Ebony. It goes from Ebony to Ebony to Ebony back to Ebony. They're like, oh God, it was bad. But we would do voices and characters for each one. And it started just this horrible downfall of just finding the worst stories possible. Have you guys ever heard of Sonic High School?
No.
No? Sonic High School Sonic High School is not as funny as My Immortal, but it's just as fucking insane. Like, it was getting to a point that I thought that the person who wrote My Immortal wrote Sonic High School. That's how bad it was.
Well, it would have been given away if they had been ranting and raving about how if all you preps are out there flamsing me.
Oh, yeah. No, there wasn't any of that. But we also read My Temptation, My Temptation something Edward Cullen. It was her fucking fan story about Twilight. And okay, so My Immortal has this kind of it has a speed to it, right? It has this speed to it, and it kind of follows it. It's got this flow. It's dumb. It's funny. She doesn't know how to write sex scenes. She didn't know the characters, people still argue to this day whether it's an honest-to-God fan fiction or it's an entire troll. And if it is a troll, it is a masterpiece. But My Immortal has this flow. Excuse me. My Temptation has that same flow up until a certain point. And then it fucking goes left field real quick.
I take it it's supposed to be Temptation, but she's retarded.
Yes. Yes, and it's My Temptation. Like, so there's the same flow of My Immortal, which is pretty chill, kind of funny. The story is kind of there, still really good. Like, I will give people, even writers, like published authors, kind of have given her credit on her descriptions of her clothing.
Oh yeah.
Like when she describes her characters and how they're dressed and how they look, you can see them. Like in your head, you can see them. Everything else is a fucking gun show, like a Wild West gun show. There is no rules.
I think my favorite description of one of the intimate scenes is the one that everyone just gets the mental image of a bony and vampire becoming a fucking totem pole because she climbed up on him and then somehow she was, while being up on him, she was underneath him and then behind. And you're just going, what the fuck is happening? Did they totem pole and then she just became a goo creature? How the fuck are you all these different directions as related to him without any shifting of positions?
Yeah. So My Temptation has that, right? And then about halfway, she never finished it, but about halfway through, she was getting so much flamming in her comments about not being serious enough that suddenly her main character just gets raped and fucking beaten out of nowhere by her stepdad.
Yep.
Like, and she there's no warning whatsoever. Like, you can, in most good stories, even bad fan fiction stories, there's this lead up to it. Like, you can kind of guess that this is going to happen. It starts at the beginning of the chapter, and that's the chapter. Like, suddenly she doesn't want to go visit her stepdad. She gets knocked out. She wakes up, and she's being assaulted. And that's the chapter. And that's how it ends the chapter. And you're like, whoa! We went from 0 to what the fuck? Real quick.
Wait, what did I miss?
How? Nothing fun.
Oh. Sorry, I had to step away for a second.
No, it's cool.
Put the dog out and let her back in.
We are still talking about fan fictions and the writer of My Immortal. And Dark just brought up that I'm giving him PTSD vibes about flashbacks on Sonic High School because I forgot that the person who wrote Sonic High School didn't know about anatomy at all. Nice. And Rogue the Bat gave birth to Knuckles' baby through her butt.
Oh, I was worried that you were going to say through your penis.
No, but apparently, the characters in Sonic High School can remove their genitals and use them like toys. So, oh god,
how
Sonic
does
High School
anybody get any
is
work
horrible.
done?
I don't know. But so going back to the writer that had Ho's got cockroaches in her crib.
That hoe got roaches in her crib.
Yeah.
The main I guess the main character that you start out with goes by the name Fred Quisha.
Classy.
We all remember Fred Quisha.
How could you forget her? That hoe had roaches in her crib. She was nasty.
Who didn't grow up with at least one Fred Quisha in their school?
You know, I used to know a Fred Quisha. I mean, she usually worked on the corner, but you know, we knew her of her. She's not one of those classy. She's not one of those classy bitches named like Star that works in the strip club.
I was really hoping because like I think you could read like the first chapter free on Amazon because like that's already published all of his books is Amazon.
Yeah.
And so like the first chapter is like, okay, this is out there. And I was really hoping that as it progressed, you would get like a Joe's apartment kind of like viewpoint from the roaches themselves. It never happened.
Well, that means that would be a
really
good story.
missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
So I read it. I don't remember the author, but the name of the story, the name of the book was The Haunted Vagina.
Okay.
This was
have a white cousin that I don't know about.
This was the
Was
synopsis.
it about an abortion?
No, that would be normal. The synopsis was the synopsis was basically this guy has a girlfriend who has a corpse climb out of her vagina. He then has to go into her vagina to find out what's wrong and discovers an entire universe.
All right.
So his
And you thought throwing
girlfriend
a hot
is
dog
the
down a
TARDIS?
hallway was bad.
Yeah.
You're
now fucking an entire universe.
Throwing a hot dog down the cosmos.
Yeah, so with that title, understand when I say this. When I say weird, I'm underplaying it. The beginning was fucking weird. Like the whole setup was fucking weird. He tried throwing eroticism into it, but you realize that the eroticism is about this dude literally pulling this girl's vagina open enough for him to crawl into, and it's not hurting her, it's actually giving her an orgasm. And then the second half of the book, where I've been on the internet long enough. I've seen dudes all the way up to the elbow, so I'm not... Yeah, but head and shoulders?
There was a joke.
I have seen one video.
There was a joke ages ago with the Minions of just opening someone up and poking your head in to take a look around.
Oh yeah, and I was getting to that, Ishtar. So the second half of the book is him being in the universe where everything has a rubbery texture, and he's in there so long that he meets other beings. There are villages.
The ghosts of boyfriends past.
They're like latex rubbery things.
Goo people.
Yeah. And
Google
he ends up
Google gobble.
and he ends up turning into one of them, and he's happy in that universe. Like she has it just so like I said, the beginning half of the book is fucking insane. The second half of the book is weird. Like it peaks halfway through, and then it's just downhill from there. Like just weird fucking downhill from there.
Why do I feel like that universe has to have something called Star Rain, which just means she got a new boyfriend?
Oh God, I am having flashbacks to these stories. So okay, we all remember the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know anthropomorphized COVID-19 is a thing?
Yes.
I was paid to read 2 short stories about having sex with the COVID virus.
Sora had to do that.
Like, I didn't think the title of one of them was real. I can't remember it for the life of me, and I really don't want to. But I was like, it can't be. It cannot. And the picture that's on the cover is a woman in like a white gown looking sexy with a guy who is just green.
Yep.
Like not Hulk green, just fucking green. And then I was like, this can't be a thing. And no, it was a thing. And they were charging $1.99 for it.
Yep.
So one of my fans goes, "Give me the cringe," and sends me $75. Well, fuck. Okay, so I pay the $1.99, and I get that. And then as we're reading that, because it's a short story, we're like, "Is there more?" And I look, and Amazon is suggesting more COVID-19 humanized COVID-19 stories. The one we picked is a story about the Hadron Collider causing COVID-19 to go back in time and becomes, I kid you not, a plantation owner. I wish I was joking. And a nerdy, busty sexpot has to go through the Hadron Collider back in time to stop COVID-19 from spreading, and ends up falling in love with him instead and banging during a ball.
Yep. That makes sense.
I went after that I was like, look, I have to read a real story now, or else I'm going to have to like bleach my brain and my eyes.
Okay, I mean, I know we started this whole stream talking about, you and the red pillars, but have we ever stopped to ask, like, are the women okay?
No, because it's fucking.
That wasn't a dude writing a story about, a
it was
virus and time traveling.
It was a woman. She does this. She does this type of stuff. We actually ended up reading another one of hers that was, she didn't understand what Antifa was. And it was
I don't think Antifa understands what Antifa is. But...
Yeah, but she really didn't. It was basically an allegory of AOC falling in love with a Antifa person. It was my Antifa something or other, but the person who was Antifa was actually like conservative, whereas the AOC stand-in was a liberal. Like, it was weird. It was badly written. It was weird. But Ishtar brings up another
badly
one.
Badly written,
Johnny,
you say?
I've got the Forrest Whitaker eye right now, Johnny.
Oh no, it gets better. I can make sure that eye falls out because I had to read a story called "Taken by the Pterodactyl."
Yep.
And Taken by the T-Rex.
What was the one
Dax
that Dax
and I
read?
read one. I can't remember the name of it, but it was Bigfoot erotica.
I'm trying to remember the name of it because I remember telling you guys
Sora
about...
actually paid us to read that one, so you'd have to ask her if she remembers. because yeah, I took down everything. I was like, I said the N word way too many times on the Roaches streams. I'm not risking anything.
There's one that I remember telling you, or a series that I remember telling you guys about, which was a overposition alien story where it was a woman falling in love with an alien race, but then she got overposited by the alien prince. It was a very strange sci-fi erotica.
So to keep my cringe book club family friendly, when it would get too bad, I would pull up a list of Pokemon from like Gen 1 to Gen 5. I would just insert Pokemon because some of the things were just like, some of the things were funny, like talking about vagina. I would use Cloyster or something like that, and and boobs. I think I said Bezoars and shit like that. It can get funny. Mm-hmm. But then it gets to the point where you're starting to try and you're running out of funny Pokemon, and you're just naming things because you can't. You want to be safe enough that YouTube won't go, "Hey, you get a strike." Like at one point, I ran out of Gen 1 Pokemon. Like it's bad. And I read the Silver Eyes, Five Nights at Freddy's book. It wasn't a great book, but it was better. It was fucking Shakespeare compared to some of the other stuff I had read. But everybody's like, when are you going to do that again? No. I like I don't want to put I kid you, I had some people who were discussing making me read War and Peace. Like I told them, because I had learned, I told them, if you want me to read fucking War and Peace, which is an extremely dry book, we're talking...
And long.
I basically said $2,000. You're making me... You're going to pay me. And then I watched my chat discuss who would be able to pay how much to get War and Peace. And I panicked for a second. Because I was like, they're going to fucking make me read War and Peace. How torturous are you fuckers going to be to me to make me read War and Peace? Thankfully, none of them did it. And I've never had this fucking book. But I had that moment of, oh god, that still wasn't high enough. Because, like, Ben was in the chat. Ben was the one that was like, read War and Peace. And I was like, no. And he was like, how much? And I went, shit. I have a career, but, and I am, like, we pay our bills and stuff, but an extra $2,000 is still an extra $2,000 fucking dollars, you know? Yeah. Like, but I had this moment of dawning realization that my chat are insane and torturous. And I love them to death. Like, I've legit made friends with some of the people in my chat, and I hate them at times because they do shit like that. Like, I know things about Ben because we've talked behind the scenes, and you know, when some of the COVID shit happened, I like checked up on him to find out what was going on. Like he has a ton of just liquid assets that he doesn't, he has time all day, and he makes a lot of money, and he likes to be entertained, and his version of being entertained is tormenting the streamers that he likes. He pays for it, but he does it.
That's one of the best forms of entertainment. If you aren't torturing the streamers that you enjoy, do you actually enjoy them?
Yes, because we do things like watching video games, watching video game streamers. I don't torment. Like, I watch this guy named DGR, and he does nothing but like Mario Maker content, and it's really fun because he plays these levels that I watch as the creators who do these things know gamers so well that they create troll levels that just predict everything someone is going to do, and I'm like, how the fuck do they do that? But it's entertaining as shit. He he gets trolled by his chat. And when I say he's family friendly, I mean he does not cuss.
Mm-hmm.
He says the fun words like, you know, French toast and shit like that, and because he's got 2 daughters, he's very religious. But he's
Cheese
legit
and crackers got all muddy.
stuff like that. Yeah. But he also knows what he does, because he does double entendres that he knows kids won't understand, but his chat fucking does.
Yep.
But he
I like
he's
I
one
like
of the
when
nicest people he's one of the nicest people I've ever seen stream, and his chat still torments the living fuck out of him. I don't
like
get
those
it.
people that are religious or whatnot, and they don't curse, but they substitute it. Because I just like going up and just like, hey, you know Jesus sees what you're doing there, right? And just walk off.
Oh, we can.
God's not dumb, friend. He knows what's up.
I can wrap this all back up with religion to the red pill stuff we were talking about. All of them,
Full circle.
all of them are these religious, I won't say all, we'll say most, are these religious traditionalists.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what your guys' political affiliation is. I really don't care. I'm letting you know I am a left-leaning conservative. I have left-leaning values, but I also have conservative values. So I consider myself a left-leaning conservative. I vote conservative. I'm financially conservative. Second Amendment, yay. First Amendment, yay. Fourth Amendment, yay. Fifth Amendment, yay. All that stuff, right?
I'm a member of the People Who Hate People Party.
Which is a great party.
It's very hard to, come together and discuss our, planks of our.
So,
but other than that, it's great. Yeah.
So most of these red pill guys are either fundamentalist Catholic Christians or they're Muslim. And when I say Muslim, I don't mean American Muslim. I mean Sharia law Muslim. So they go, that's why, like, one of the guys I've been getting his attention and he hates me, like despises me, is RX Red Pill. I made fun of him so hard that I felt bad while I was writing, not just the script, but recording it. Like, I asked my chat, am I being too mean to this Yahoo? But he just tweeted out something a couple hours ago about the cheerleaders, NFL cheerleaders. Apparently, NFL cheerleaders make less than minimum wage.
It's not a full-time job.
It's not, but they should be paid a little. NFL is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Let's be fair. They can pay the water boys and shit like that more. This is why I say I'm a left-leaning conservative. My financial stuff goes kind of back and forth. I believe in workers' rights.
My thing was about it not being a full-time job. Is like, are they saying that they don't get paid minimum wage for the time they actually work, or like you stretch out through like the course of the year?
They get paid like $12 an hour
for the actual time.
Okay, so they're getting paid more than minimum wage when they're working, but it doesn't sum up to minimum wage in general.
Yeah. So he basically tweeted out that they don't even deserve $1. And I'm like, they're fucking working. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. Because, and he believes this because, and I wish he was in the chat now. I really want to get him on stream to talk to him. I really do. Because he's a fucking idiot. He believes because they dress sexy and garner attention and get their pictures taken and get video taken of them doing dances and cheers that they're whores. So they don't deserve money. They deserve
your whores
nothing.
Too.
I've never been to an NFL game. I've only ever seen NFL like on TV. I can't tell you how many times I've actually seen NFL cheerleaders. I like, not because they're so ubiquitous. Like, I don't remember ever actually seeing them. College football, I'll see cheerleaders.
I think,
but it never registers in my mind seeing NFL cheerleaders.
I think
so.
There's maybe like 2 or 3 teams where you actually see the cheerleaders. Dallas being
so
one of
the
them.
Cowboys.
The Cowgirls, which is the name of their cheerleaders. I'm not making fun of the team, although I will because Ishtar is a fan of the Cowboys, and I love running them down. But the Cowgirls are one of the more popular ones. The Raiderettes are another popular one. Those are the two that come to mind. But with college, the cheer squad is the cheerleaders, which is about like 30 cheerleaders. Then they also have the color guard involved in the band. That's all one full thing. NFL, you're talking maybe about 10 cheerleaders, and they're always on the sidelines. You can see them. They're usually, but because there's so many people on the sidelines, you can't. They're there for the people who are in the front row, the first like 10 rows. But other than that, they'll show them during halftime or something like that. Ishtar says that on average, they make
22 to 75. Top ranks make 100K.
And then Dark says from $12 to $20 an hour for games.
Okay, yeah. So it's that when you annualize it and you assume that they're only cheerleaders, they aren't working anything else. They don't make what would work out to less than, or they don't make what would be an annualized minimum wage full-time position. But they make good money while they're doing it. It's just not sufficient to cover an entire year's minimum wage. That makes sense.
Although I do have to say, like 12 to 20 for games and then 10 to 16 for practices, that's not a lot.
It's not brilliant.
Because the game itself is 2 hours long.
Cities that are going to have higher cost of living. So
the games are usually 2 hours long, longer if they go into overtime. So let's say they make $20 an hour. That's $40.
Well, I mean, if you're talking like broadcast, you're talking 3 hours.
Well, the cheerleaders don't get paid for the pregame.
No, I'm talking like there's a lot of stoppages and stuff.
But on average, football games are about 2 hours long, even though they're only supposed to be an hour because each quarter is fucking 15 minutes, and 15 minutes is 60, which is an hour, but it takes 2. No one understands that. So they make $40. Practice, let's say that we'll go at the high end, they make $16 an hour per practice, and they could practice 2 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Probably 2 to 3, yeah.
2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week. That still is a decent chunk, but it's kind of like you said, it's such a short time.
Yeah,
and then they don't get paid They
don't get paid off season.
Yeah, so it's
I imagine
they make less than minimum wage.
They do to make money, especially like the Cardboard was saying. There's cheer competitions. There's I imagine some of them probably do like coaching on the side.
And that's what I was going to say, that they make good money for the hours that they work. Not spectacular money, but not completely laughable money when they're working. But then if you assume that that's their only job, it is rather low. A lot of them will also do modeling. A lot of them will also do training of various groups. You'll have
cheer schools and things like that.
Yeah,
they have
stuff like that.
They're not dumb. Like they know that this is they have to have other forms of income.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that saying that they make less than minimum wage is kind of like looking at the staff for a music festival that pays security and saying, well, the music security staff is making less than minimum wage. Well, when you annualize them working that one gig, yes. When you talk about everything else that they do, no. Which was my point. Also, to go back to what the guy who was coming after you was saying, he has his terms confused. You pay your whores. It's the sluts that you don't pay. He would have to argue that they are sluts, not whores.
Yeah, but you're assuming that he knows what words mean.
True. That is
now,
rather difficult for a lot of people.
Is he a Catholic or a Muslim?
This one, he gives me Catholic vibes basically because he's white. Now, I know he can be Muslim and be white. I get that. But chances are he's white, he's Catholic. Or Christian. One of the two. Those are two separate things. But
one's a
like
subsect of the other,
the red pill bros, red pill morons, whatever you want to call them, they are very, very fundamentalist. And that's why they call out, like, one of the biggest insults that they keep throwing at me is TradCon, because they see it as a bad thing. TradCon, of course, stands for traditional conservative. I am not a TradCon. I am very pro-sex. Like I said, I'm left-leaning conservative. I have a lot of views that are somewhere in between. Like, I'm not left, I'm not right, because both being one or the other kind of sucks.
I mean, I haven't taken a political compass test or anything like that, but I imagine these days I'm to the right of Archie Bunker.
Like you said, you're part of the I hate everybody party, which
Yeah.
that's fair. You can hate everybody equally, so you can't be racist because everybody sucks.
According to the last compass test that I took, I am a left-leaning moderate.
Which again is not a bad thing. It just means you lean left on certain things, and then you're kind of in the middle on others.
It reminds me of the Chris Rock stand-up. He goes, let's see here. I got some things I'm conservative about. I got some shit that I'm liberal about. On crime, I'm a conservative. On prostitution, I'm liberal.
Well, I mean, that's an old joke, you know, just a different setup and punchline. Because, like, the first time I heard it was like, you know, on some things I'm conservative, on some things I'm liberal. With my daughter, I'm conservative. With your daughter, I'm liberal.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the same thing. That's how they.
I consider myself a small L libertarian, just as Ishtar said.
Yeah, and all of that is great. It's when you get to the extremes.
I like guns and weed. Now leave me alone type person.
That's a
libertarian.
traditional libertarian.
Yeah, that's a traditional libertarian. You're a big L libertarian. You're like, look, I do my thing, you do your thing. Stay off my fucking lawn. Oh.
Hippity hoppity, get off my property.
Yes. So these guys are very, like, being called a TradCon apparently to them is like the worst thing you could possibly be. So they literally, do you guys know who Turd Flinging Monkey is?
I've heard the name.
I know the name.
Okay, Turd Flinging Monkey was a huge name in MGTOW. He came out with a video that he said, and I quote, "Treat women like giant fuckable children with tits."
What now?
Two of those words should never be in the same phrase.
Yes. So what he was saying is that women can't take care of themselves.
Sir,
So
I need you to have a seat, sir. Come over here, have a seat.
Oh, I tore him apart. Trust me. To the point where he knew, because I was in a server with a guy named Penoid. It was his server.
Tom Penoid?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that dude in a minute.
Neither has anybody else.
Oh, actually, I take that back. He did pop up in the comment for one of AP's videos this morning.
Oh, God.
There has been a sighting. Penoid lives.
So I was in Penoid's server, and he has Turd Flinging Monkey and Sandman in there.
Why?
Because he's a MGTOW. Regardless of what he says, yes. He will tell you up and down every day, left and right, front and back, he is not a MGTOW. He is. The reason he says he's not is so he can talk to other people to bring them in to talk to Turd Flinging Monkey and Sandman and people like that to bring them towards MGTOW. I watched it happen.
Oh.
Like, live.
Sandman's the one with the slightly strange high-pitched voice, right?
He's the one talking about one of their buttery vaginas that have hypno juices in them.
Yes!
Yeah, that's the one I thought.
Yes!
See, everyone knows that guy.
Everyone knows that guy.
I made a fucking video on that, and is hands down my favorite video, aside from, I think, RX Red Pill's video beat it out by just a little bit much, but it's my hands down one of my favorite videos that I've ever made.
Was it
it's funny as
Sandman,
shit.
or was it a different one that was arguing with SDA and Monkey got involved, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was Sandman. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was? Okay.
I remember Monkey ripping the piss out of buttery vaginas.
Turd Flinging Monkey said, "Treat women like giant fuckable children with tits." Basically saying women can't take care of themselves. They need to be. He was basically saying that they can't take care of themselves. You have to do everything for them. You treat them as if they were your child, and you raise them as like that for your relationship. It's grooming. It's creepy as shit. It is taking agency away from somebody. It's gross. And then he starts talking about Sharia law. I wish I was joking.
Okay.
He wanted to implement Sharia law in the West so that he could control women. This is also the same guy who has a real doll that he made his co-host, where he downloaded an app so he can talk to her. And I kid you not, I covered on an episode of MSNBC, which was a news show I used to do, where he was advocating for his real doll to have rights.
Crickets.
Because it's I wish I was joking. It was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard, and I laughed my ass off. He has stopped doing content, and last thing I checked up on him doing is he reviews sex toys. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh boy.
I mean, there any good ones out there? I mean,
I didn't
what kind of
say-
ratings is he giving?
Is his justification for why his sex doll should have rights? Because I fuck the others as well, so this one should count?
I don't know. It was in a legitimate article. So there, oh God, going off a tangent, I'll get back to the Sharia law stuff with the red pill. So there's a
No,
bodybuilder
you
out
got
there.
my attention, man. Tell me about the sex toys. Like, what do we?
I'm going to give me a second. So there is a Russian bodybuilder out there who married his sex doll.
I remember that story. That was
Yep.
yeah,
There
2
is
years
an
ago.
entire story arc with this guy. So he married his sex doll. His sex doll broke. He sent her in for repairs. He then cheated on her with a sex toy, which was a ridged, rubbery kind of ashtray looking thing.
I mean, come on now. Beating ain't cheating.
Wait, an ashtray-looking thing? How fat and shallow are you that you're able to get an ashtray-looking thing to do the trick?
I don't
He's
want
Russian,
to know.
so I'm not questioning it.
I don't want to know. But, okay, then it continues. He gets his wife, quote-unquote, back, who has a personality now, who is upset with him for cheating on her, so she divorced him. The
Did
sex
she get
doll
half his shit?
divorced him, and now he is
Son of a
in
bitch, your imaginary friend divorces you? That is really low self-esteem.
no, it gets better.
Speaking of
Like I
dead
said,
end,
this is a whole arc. He now is in a polyamorous relationship with 2 Asian sister sex dolls who are models, who have their own Instagrams.
Make this man write fan fiction. It will be right up there with my immortal.
I think I feel
the-
blood pooling in my brain somewhere.
How I found out about Turd Flinging Monkey was that last article about him being in a polyamorous relationship, because it cut from that to talking about. I'm not going to name drop him because I don't remember his real name, but it says his real name. Talking about how he has a co-host who is a real doll, who he has an app that he has downloaded so he can converse with her, and he is in love with her and believes she should have rights because she is a real person to him.
So he's
amount
going
of
full-blown Saudi Arabia, where women shouldn't have rights. Robots, they're another matter.
I mean, I'm with Rotten here, man. I'm feeling pretty good about my life decisions so far after listening to this.
Oh,
I'm practically walking on sunshine at the moment.
all of the things that I learn about the people that I've talked about, I'm like, oh my god, I used to. You guys remember a show called World Dumbest Criminals?
Yeah.
It was on Spike TV.
Yes.
I used to love that show. Why? Because it made me feel like the smartest person alive. Dealing with Red Pill and dealing with MGTOW make me feel like the smartest fucking person on the planet.
I mean, I just go to Walmart.
If you want a cheap hit, there's that too. But you
Also
also
the
feel
Darwin
like
Award.
you also feel like one of the best dressed people in the world when you go to Walmart too, and you could just be wearing like boxer shorts and fucking a t-shirt, and you're like, hey, I'm compared to the woman who's wearing skin tight, lycra that's halfway down her 450-pound ass with a shit stain running down them, I look goddamn good. But
You know,
let me-
we've been talking all this time, and I had none of us have brought up the fact one of the founders of this channel, he's actually a MGTOW.
Yeah.
But he's not like those dudes.
Yeah,
He's one of the sensible ones.
Sane.
So
he has
he's an
firing
acquaintance going-
synapses in his brain.
I have,
He
I have an-
doesn't hate women. He's just like I'm just not gonna get married again.
Yep.
Yeah, I have an acquaintance. I can't call him a friend because we get kind of contentious every once in a while. But he's someone I know who is a MGTOW. He would be considered a classical MGTOW now. But I had the opportunity to ask him about Red Pill, and he went, "Oh my god, they're fucking stupid." Like there are MGTOW who think Red Pill are fucking morons. Like I desperately want to talk to Sandman. I wanted to talk to Sandman since I found the vagina video, and just been like, I need to understand you. Now I want to talk to him because I want to know what he thinks about the new Red Pill people. Because they have
his brain.
Like they have crazier fucking theories than Sandman. Like Sandman was fucking out there, right? Thinking he understood what quantum computing was, and fucking X-Men level vagina powers, and having and women having a mucus sac inside their fucking vaginas that puts a thick viscous fluid down the pee hole that sends copulins into your testicles and then up to your brain, which doesn't fucking work because those things aren't attached. But you know,
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't work. You know, sending it to the testicles. That's where the pee is stored. Everyone knows that.
But like,
I mean, what good would that do?
I miss those, right? I miss the crazy MGTOW, because the Red Pill people now are just shy of legitimately, like, I don't use the term misogynist. Like, it got ruined with like extreme feminism and third wave feminism and all that shit. Like, I used to be an MRA. Like, I used to hang around with the honey badgers and shit. Okay, I know these people. I don't know Red Pill.
I think
like these guys are fucking insane.
I in thinking about it, the Red Pill is the feminist for men, and I'm not talking about male feminists. I'm talking about Anita Sarkeesian, but for guys.
Oh yeah. That's actually a really good comparison of like Myron from Fresh and Fit. Myron is definitely a fucking another version of Anita Sarkeesian, because he wants it a certain way, and whether you like it or not, he likes it. It has to be that way. Like right now, him and Pearl are tagging Ben Shapiro and everybody in the Daily Wire because they want to get them on camera. They want to get them to debate them, because Pearl, for some fucking reason, thinks that she can debate Ben Shapiro. I want to see it happen just to watch Ben's head explode.
Yeah,
like,
I saw the one for Sydney Watson, and Sydney's like, she posted the meme of the anime character and the butterfly.
Yeah,
and she photoshopped her face on the butterfly. Like, is this a TradCon?
Yeah, like, so
I'm trying to remember who it was that Fresh and Fit were having a row with, where one of them was a smaller guy, one of them was a bigger guy.
That's Abba and Preach.
It was Abba and Preach? Okay.
Yep.
And he was going after the smaller one, saying, "You're a pussy if you won't fight me." The bigger one went, "Well, you won't fight me, bitch. What does that make you?"
Reverse that. So, Preach, Abba is the taller one. Preach challenged Myron to a fight because he was going to be in Miami. Myron ducked it. Didn't answer him, didn't say anything. Like, they run in the same circles. Abba and Preach are Red Pill.
Color me
they're not crazy Red Pill.
Color me shocked.
Like, they... Huh?
They say color me shocked that he ducked.
Yeah, so Myron ducked. Myron found out that Abba was coming to visit Destiny because they're friends in Miami. So Myron went nuts on Twitter, challenging Abba to a fight and everything like this. And Abba basically said, "You wouldn't fight my friend. What makes you think I'm going to fight you?" Like, it's... Myron is a school bully, right? He talks a big game. let me preface this because school bullies come in many shapes and sizes. Myron is. You guys remember the old Looney Tune cartoons where there's the little yappy dog and the big fucking bulldog?
Yeah, Butch and Spike.
Yes. He's the little yappy dog. He
That's
writes
Spike.
checks that he writes checks that his ass cannot cash. He talks a big game and he's aggressive about it, and he believes the more aggressive he is, the more you'll back down. Which is why he starts Yes. The more aggressive he is, the more you'll back down. And if you give him pushback, he shuts up. In my video about Rolo, I clipped something from a stream that Sneeko, of all fucking people, and Destiny were teamed up against Rolo and Myron, and I don't know if Fresh from Fresh and Fit, because Myron is the fit one, even though his hairline is receding faster than the polar ice caps. So they were Sneeko and Destiny were going at Rolo, saying, "What is a high value male? Nail it down."
Wait,
Tell us what it
Sneeko was
is.
going after him?
Yeah, Sneeko. So Sneeko he was not red pill. Like, he kind of was. I would say red pill.
I'll be
light.
honest with you. The only thing I know about that dude is when that clip came out, he admitted to trying to swing, go to an orgy or whatever.
Yeah,
And he just
his
watched his wife
girlfriend,
get fucked in
and he
front
just
of him.
watched.
Watched his girlfriend getting fucked in front of me. He's like, "Nope, I'm out."
Yep. So he was like red pill light. He believed, but he also is promoting that he's a Muslim. So a lot of the stuff that Myron talks about and Rolo talks about goes against
I'm pretty
Muslim.
sure orgies are not halal.
They aren't. Which, if you bring that up to him now, he says that's in his past. He has repented, and he has taken Allah into his life, and blah 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 blah. But he's still hitting up girls on the side, and he's still fucking girls and doing all this shit. All of these people, every single thing that a red pill does, especially if they have an audience,
So
like Fresh
he's
and
a
Fit.
cuck that worships a pedophile warlord. Okay.
Fair, yeah. But they're all virtue signalers. So one thing that I've started to do, because this is something, and if you guys interact with them, you in the chat as well, if you interact with them, this is what they do, because they'll bring up the divorce court, the courts are divorce courts and shit like that. Tell them, because all they do is listen to these idiots who use this as a cudgel. They don't actually care about it. Tell them exactly this, and it shuts them down. If Myron or Rolo or whoever they're talking about actually cared about the courts, why aren't they doing anything about it? They have money. They're in this country. They have a platform. Yeah, they have a platform. They have millions of viewers. Why are they not organizing? Why are they not putting their own money against and trying to get laws changed? Because they don't care. They use it as a cudgel.
They do care. It's just that if they do that, they don't have any money to bitch about. They're not going to have an income stream anymore.
They don't want their money to be used to it. They want you to use your money for it.
Well, yeah, and
they want you to give your money to them. They would prefer that rather than your money going anywhere else, which is more to what Camel was saying, that if the problem's solved, their fundraising dries up.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the fucking protesters that are like, just stop oil. They don't give a flying fuck about what's going on. They just want to be able to raise money and throw soup at fucking glass, or they want to make a big show of soup when their hand to the ground. That's exactly what these guys are doing. And Pearl, I'm trying to start a hashtag. It's not picking up yet, but I just want the hashtag Shut Up Pearl to trend. That's all I want.
Nice.
Because she needs to.
Well, we've got a buddy who he's down bad. I think even he would admit it, right, Johnny? and like he's willing to jump on the pearl grenade for the good of everybody else. I was like, no, don't no.
No, he needs to pick better. All around.
Look, Pearl needs a good dicking, but I don't even think like I don't know who you're talking about, but I would hope that he has better choices.
He does not.
He does not.
That's a grenade. That's a grenade that no one needs to jump on.
At this point, we've decided to form like a committee to vet any of his future prospects because he's made some terrible life choices.
That just makes you really good friends. That's all.
Oh, it's terrible, terrible choices.
He was on stream with us a few weeks back, and he sent me in DMs like pictures. He had one ex who apparently she was a burglar, and he didn't know anything about it.
Convicted
while they were dating. Yeah, like he was interrogated by the cops, like to find out like how much he knew if he helped her or whatnot. And he's like I don't know, like what does she do for work? Like I don't know, like she leaves and she comes back with like money and stuff. Just like completely oblivious. I mean, I'm not doing the story any justice. He is a beautiful soul. He just makes bad decisions when it comes to the fair sex.
I even
more than once I have used the spray bottle no meme.
By the way, hey Reject, how's it going?
Hey Reject,
look what's become of us.
Him. I don't know him, but I would hope that even he can look at Pearl and go, "This bitch can't be saved."
No. He is that Asian dude like holding the microphone with like the whole parliament trying to pull him off it, going wood.
Oh god. Oh god.
He is Long Duck Dong. He is so ready just to get it done.
Oh god. Pearl is just the dumbest. Look, she changes her opinions so much. She posted so one of her big things that got around, and she loves saying that she's being attacked and playing the victim and shit like this, is she says 26-year-olds are always hotter than 36-year-olds. So what does that do? That makes all the 36-year-olds that are actually pretty fucking hot start standing up for themselves. Yeah, stand up for themselves, and then you have a bunch of their husbands. Yeah. Pearl, in her infinite wisdom, posted a tweet.
16-year-olds are...
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Posted 16-year-olds are hotter than 26-year-olds, and then immediately deleted it. But the Wayback Machine caught it, and a bunch of other people screen capped it because they're not dumb.
Oh, you know for a fact that thing got archived the moment she hit send.
Oh yeah. So she gets on these tangents. And
but you live in the UK, Matt. 16 is the age of consent there.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's still creepy as fuck. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's creepy as fuck. And if she was
because...
just trying to get hot pictures of 26-year-olds, keep it legal. Go for 19-year-olds are always hotter than 26-year-olds. Then the 26-year-olds will start sending their pictures.
And just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, the law might be able to tell you that it's okay, but no. Just
there are some states.
You a dirty bastard.
There are some states that the age of consent is 16. I think there's a state that the age of consent is 14. That doesn't mean you can do it.
Take me home, country roads.
Because the parents still look at it and go, yeah, that's still statutory rape, and I'm going to have you arrested. Like, there are... We're talking about limitation. Like, if you're 14 and your boyfriend's 15, that's not statutory rape.
Yeah, there's Romeo and Juliet laws.
Yeah, but if you're 14 and your boyfriend's 24, yeah, he's going to jail. I don't care if it's age of consent. I don't. If you're 16 and your boyfriend's 26, He's going to jail.
I always thought
Like-
it was weird, and this is from me in
I
high
mean,
school.
I would like to be on that same, but like in reality, that is not the case. Like I remember being in like junior high, and you're in 7th, 8th grade, and you're trying to compete with dudes that have a fucking car note.
Yeah. Like I remember in high school, like there were like the seniors who were dating the freshmen, and I always thought that was kind of weird. But
Yeah.
it's not like, I know what like the situation behind how they got together or anything, but it's still just, it was still just too far apart. Because they are just entering high school, and it just seems like, here, let me take care of this new fawn that just wandered into the territory, and at least that's how it appeared to me.
No, I agree with you 100%.
And so I'm just kind of like, it's a little weird, but okay.
And it doesn't get any better the older you get. Like you start to see things that you're like, oh, why is that a thing? And I know for a fact I'm older than most of these people. I know for a fact. Because when I come across someone who's almost my age and they're still doing this shit, there's something wrong with them. Like, you guys know what an incel is, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We know what it is, but it's also
it's a movement
it's
now.
the wrong fucking word.
It's the simp thing again.
Yeah, it's a movement now. There are guys who are proud of being incels. I'm like, really? You're proud of being such a horrible person that people don't want to even remotely be around you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm intolerable.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I'm old enough to remember when, those types of people used to just, build a little cabin out in the backwoods in Montana.
And start writing mathematical theorems and sending bombs to random senators.
And then get hit in the face with the door by
Johnny actually literally ran into the Unabomber when he was a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
I grew up in the land of Kaczynski, so it's me and my dad on a trip to the grocery store.
Yeah, now Johnny barely answers my DMs, let alone, fuck snail mail. No chance of that happening.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely got me beat on the, hey, have you ever met a famous person question?
Like
The only person that I know who has that beat is Weibo's father, who was almost gay-seed.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, there's a story that Weibo did ages ago on her channel that was
Holy
her
shit.
father meeting Gacy. And
Tell me
Gacy
he has a fear of clowns now. Please tell me.
trying to abduct her father.
Fuck. Like, I have famous people I have met. Most of them are wrestlers. But, like...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Johnny's got me beat with just Uncle Ted. The only famous people I've met has been Bill Goldberg and the Lizard Man.
I met Arlie Ermy.
Oh, you motherfucker.
He was
I feel
cool.
like I'm gonna be bragging here. I have met the Brooklyn Brawler. I have met Ted DiBiase. I have met Kane. I've met Ahmed Johnson. I hung out, and when I say hung out, I mean like all day with we didn't know him as Al Snow back then. He was Leaf Cassidy, but Al Snow and Marty Jannetty, mainly because Marty Jannetty was hitting on my best friend's mom and really, really, really wanted to take her home.
I thought that guy looked from that they're the same person.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that fellow looked familiar.
So while Marty
shut
Jannetty
up,
was hitting on my friend's mom, Al Snow took me, my brother, and our two friends to go meet all the wrestlers. Like cut lines to go get signings and shit like that. I have met Chris Jericho. I have met Rikishi. Like, the only one who I want to meet that I haven't met is my hands down favorite wrestler is The Undertaker.
Okay.
I want to meet Mark Calloway because now, since he is retired, he is just fucking Mark Calloway, and he is like legitimately one of the most chill dudes I've ever seen talk. Like, he had spent 35 fucking years playing a character, and now that he's retired, he lets all of it fly. Like, he still holds up certain things. Like, he doesn't talk bad about certain wrestlers. He doesn't talk bad about shit. He still boosts other wrestlers, but he's like so fucking calm.
I've watched a couple.
For me, it's him and Sting.
I watched a couple of his podcasts, and he's very like almost trauma dumping.
Yes,
on it,
because
and he's kind of like
wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, and so he's just like, okay, now I'm gonna say everything. Like it's. And it's just so funny how like, because you never see him in interviews, and the interviews that you do see him in, it's kind of like, yeah.
And then now you're like, oh fuck, he's a real person.
And now it's like trying to get him to shut up. Try that. It's never gonna happen.
I mean, he's only like 6'10" and 300 pounds. Good luck, trying to get him to stop talking.
And then in a weird 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon way, I was almost related to The Rock. So
I didn't know you were Samoan.
No, let me explain. I said 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So I say almost because it didn't happen. My ex-wife was a quarter Filipino. Her mom, half Filipino. Grandmother, full Filipino. Filipino, also are Samoan. Her cousin dated The Rock all through college. They were going to get married, and they broke up. I was almost, this is why I say almost, related to The Rock. Like, when my ex-wife told me this, I went, you go back and you tell her to fix her relationship. She was like,
you go back, you fuck him and marry that man.
Yeah. You go back there and you smell what he's fucking cooking, all right?
And she goes, what are you talking about? That was like 10 years ago. I said, I don't fucking care. You go tell her to fix that shit.
I still think it's funny that the Rock is the one that leaked that we killed Bin Laden.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Well, I mean, he didn't say it like explicitly, but I guess like he's related to a Navy SEAL, and through the grapevine he found out before Obama actually announced it.
Oh shit! Well,
so he like sent a tweet like, damn proud to be an American tonight,
The
and then like a couple hours later, Barry's giving the announcement.
So the weird. Okay, so the Anawa'i family is basically the Smiths of Samoa. Like any Samoan wrestler is related. They're all related. Roman Reigns is legitimately the cousin to Jimmy and Jay. Solo is really their brother. Like, Rikishi is their dad. Rikishi is the cousin to Yokozuna. Like, I mean, all of the Samoan wrestlers, who some of them are fucking legendary, they are all related by blood, which is they're one of the biggest wrestling families.
They're the Gracies of pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, and so it's funny when you hear like, okay, what's his name? Zilla is supposed to be coming to WWE sometime soon. He is working the indies right now. He is Roman Reigns' second cousin. Like, they're not directly related, but by blood, I think he's Samu's sister's son or something like that. Like, all of them are fucking related, and they can bring them in as quote unquote the bloodline. Like, it's fucking ridiculous about how many, and there are people who are related that you wouldn't even believe because like they're kind of white, and you're like, why are they related to them? Oh, because they married so and so, and well, that's their sister, and well, they're part of that family too.
And that's how that works.
Yep. And I've gotten Ishtar into wrestling. So when you tell someone you're a wrestling fan, I've been watching since WrestleMania 7. I've been watching wrestling long enough to I remember if you wore a wrestling shirt to school, you got your ass kicked. Okay? when you tell someone you're a fan of WWE or AEW or TNA or whatever it is, they always say, you know, that's fake, right?
No, it's predetermined. There's
I
a
have a
difference.
whole spiel for that I'm not going to go into, but I then tell them basically the same thing. The person who's winning is known. Everything else, you can't fake falling
Gravity.
off the top rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fake hitting a table. You can't fake, like, yeah, the kicks and the punches, they're fake. We get
Matt,
it.
didn't
They're
you
cold.
know that Owen Hart didn't die? He's living down in Cuba with Elvis and Tupac.
Oh god.
It was all stage, man.
I know.
It was all
I
a
know.
work.
Well, they also say it's cheesy. And my best thing that I can tell them, and it doesn't make it sound any better.
And so what?
Well, I basically say it's soap operas for guys, just with less violence. So when you say that, people are like, "What are you talking about?" Like, okay, so there are stories that go through this. It's not just that two big guys come out and beat the shit out of each other. They build it up. There's a story.
There's crowd work. There's all kinds of stuff.
How many of them have had amnesia? That's the real mark of if it's soap opera for men.
I think there are three storylines that involved amnesia. Almost
That's kind of low for soap opera. They need to bump up those numbers a bit. Get more people that are amnesiacs.
So Ishtar was one of those people that was like, wrestling is stupid. A year ago,
and you still married this woman?
Hold on. A year ago, as of the 30th of January, was the first time that she actually sat down and watched a WWE event with me. My favorite event, the Royal Rumble. This also happens to be the last match that Bray Wyatt had. She saw the build-up to the match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. The story that they showed beforehand, the recap. Instantly hooked her. She watched the match, didn't understand what the fuck was going on. The Uncle Howdy thing showed up, and she wanted to know what was going on with that. Unfortunately, we now know that Bray Wyatt couldn't continue, and then he passed away, which was really sad. But it got her to watch. And I warned her, and I've warned every person that I've gotten into wrestling before. There are two things that are going to happen. You're going to find someone you like, whether you like how they look, their finishing move, how they talk, whatever it is, you're going to find someone you like, and you're going to be invested. But what really sells it is when you find someone you hate.
Yeah.
Then you want to see them pay. So, she watched the Rumble with me. She watched the Rumble with me, and last year the Women's Rumble was on second, so she got to see the Men's Royal Rumble. She liked the idea of the match. She thought it was cool. Then the Bray Wyatt thing happened, and then she had to go do something, so she didn't get to see Rhea Ripley and everything with the Women's Royal Rumble. So I started telling her about it, because I was watching. I didn't have cable or anything. I was watching on Hulu, so I would watch like Raw or stuff, or the recaps like on YouTube. And I would tell her what's going on. Finally, and then she watched Elimination Chamber. And Logan Paul showed up. She instantly was, I know who that is. And then the story between him and Seth Rollins, she was like, I don't like him. But she liked him because he was entertaining. And the stories started getting to her. Now, we watch both Raw and SmackDown every fucking week. We bring friends over to watch PLEs. Like, it's a whole thing. She is a wrestling fan now. And her favorite is Rhea Ripley. And Cody Rhodes. And I can't argue Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is like a mixture of new school wrestler and old school wrestler combined into one. Like, the stories that came out from the Rumble last week, he was there until after midnight, signing and greeting everybody who wanted to greet him. Like, there are no wrestlers that fucking do that anymore. Like,
I do like his stories, like because we were talking about the Undertaker earlier and how he's letting it all out now that he's retired. So I followed his YouTube channel, and the algorithm actually working for once. It started, you're like, oh, you like wrestling? Well, here, look, I haven't paid any attention to wrestling since I don't know, 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And, not that I don't like it or anything. I loved it as a kid. Loved the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just grew away from it. And with the Undertaker retiring and starting to tell all of his stories, 3+ decades of behind the scenes, I was like, I'm in. And so yeah, it just started. YouTube just started. Oh well, here's Inside the Ropes with Cody Rhodes or Chris Jericho, and like with the Jericho ones, like, oh man, that takes me back. Talking about the WCW days and the switch over to WWE. But the Cody Rhodes stories that dude is hilarious.
Oh yeah, and he captured, like, when you say.
I mean, if he wasn't a wrestler, that guy could be a stand-up. No sweat.
And he captures you with how he talks. And if you watch him do promo work on the shows, he's fucking flawless.
Oh yeah, like YouTube gave me one the other day of him. He was cutting a promo with Paul Heyman, talking about Dusty.
Oh yeah,
this motherfucker almost had me crying.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. And Ish, I haven't shown you Attitude Era stuff. I showed her the original Royal Rumble. Now she started current era, the PG era, like where there's high flyers. She saw Ricochet. She saw the highlights of Ricochet and Logan Paul smashing into each other on the Rumble. She saw all that stuff. I told her, I want you to have some of this older stuff under your belt so you can see it and know that you've seen it, but you're gonna hate it. So I showed her the original Royal Rumble, the one that Hacksaw Jim Duggan won, where there was no fanfare, there was nothing behind it. It was just a big thing. And I'm geeking out because King Harley Race is in it, the Ultimate Warrior is in it, fucking Don the Rock Morocco, all these old people, all these old wrestlers, legendary wrestlers that I know about. Bret Hart was number 2, like Tito Santana was number 1, and I'm explaining all these things. But she's so checked out on it because the original Rumble is just the guys punching and kicking, like there's nothing really going on. There's no stories being told. It's not crafted. Yeah, it's just a bunch of big fucking dudes.
Jobs.
Yeah, it's just a big bunch of like dad bod guys beating the shit out of each other. And she's completely checked out. And then on YouTube, WWE has started putting like full episodes of things, full PLEs of things. So they had the 1996 Royal Rumble, the full match. And I said, I want you to watch this. This is not Attitude Era. It's just before the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
It's still that 90s era. It's the new generation era. I want you to watch it because there are some people here that you may recognize or that will be popular later. And the first person in the entrant in the Rumble is Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And she goes, who's that? And I said, that's Triple H. And she goes, he's hot. I mean, no shit.
That was a few muscles behind. So
yeah, it was before he had his injury and he came back looking like a jacked fucking brick wall. But like I while that was going on, I could explain to her a little bit more about Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and all this stuff and everything that was going on that pertained more to this. I showed her the Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Mankind. I saw that live on pay-per-view.
I remember watching that.
I remember
everyone talking about it like the next day at school.
Yeah. I remember us losing our shit thinking that Mankind, Mick Foley, was really fucking dead, like really fucking hurt.
I mean, he was really fucking hurt.
Not being thrown off onto the table. After he's in his book, he even said he was fine. It's that second fall from the top of the cage that fucked him up. But
what I thought was funny was hearing like both him and Undertaker talking about it. Like hearing their different perspectives.
Oh yeah, they watched it. I watched that video. One was like individually, not them watching it together though. Okay.
Like hearing them talk about but like Mick, he's obviously concussed.
Yep.
He's knocked out. And when I forget who the guy was that came in to
Terry Funk.
check. Yeah, you're right, Terry. And the Undertaker choke slams him.
Yep.
Out of his
It was-
shoes.
Yes, and it was so that the referee could actually check to see if he was okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And he says
Even
he
Terry-
came to, and his first thought was, "Where did this shoe come from?"
Yep, and then to hear Undertaker tell that part of it, Mick Foley basically told him, "I didn't hit the tacks."
See, you mentioning that the first one was just a slugfest reminded me of a fight from early days of mixed martial arts. It was
Oh God!
Pride UFC.
Yep, and
And
it was
the
legitimately like-
manliest fight.
Oh,
Ever.
Don Fry and who was the other one?
Yoshiro Takayama.
where they actually legitimately had like a sumo wrestler going up against someone who knew karate. I remember those fights.
Oh no, the one that Pride would always do freak show fights, but the Don Fry versus Yoshiro Takayama, it was immediately after a fight that was a wrestle hump, where it was boring as shit. The moment that the fight really started, the fight was already over. Then Don Fry and Yoshiro Takayama had watched that fight, and they both looked at each other and said, "We're going to have an actual fucking fight." They didn't go to the ground. They didn't do a wrestle hump. It was two absolute monsters. Just stand up. We're going to punch each other until one of us falls. And they're just throwing knees and fists, pounding the shit out of each other. Don Fry's not a small guy. Don Fry's like a good 5-6 inches shorter. And they're just trading blows back and forth. It wasn't a complete work. It was just both of them had this gentleman's agreement of, we're going to pound the piss out of each other and give people an actual fucking show. Because that wrestle hump was boring as shit.
They I know that they started changing the rules and stuff to do the whole tap out thing at UFC 40.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're at like UFC 300 or something like that now, but I remember. So Bloodsport came out and had a resurgence, I should say. Bloodsport had a resurgence, and UFC showed up doing the Ultimate Fighter, not Ultimate Fighter Championships, but just Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And they had anybody, and it wasn't mixed martial. When they said mixed martial arts, it wasn't this one guy knows like 12 different martial arts. It was mixed martial arts fighters. Like,
yep, it was.
Street Fighter.
You'd have a sumo wrestler versus a
someone who
boxer.
does, a boxer, or someone who does the capoeira to jujitsu and shit like that.
Yep.
And my dad was interested in it, and he told it, and he was like, it's like Bloodsport. And well, me and my brother went, that's fucking awesome. And yeah, we watched it. It wasn't. It was anything but awesome. But that was my first introduction to Horace Gracie and Ken Shamrock. So,
Oh, you're talking one.
yeah, I'm talking.
Horse
it was
won 1
old.
and 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but the Horus versus Shamrock was one. And good, you pulled up the manliest fight. Fuck yeah. That fight, it is just two giants that the only time that there's any sort of slowdown is when they're completely fucking gassed.
And
That
that's,
is the
that's about the
only-
prettiest that he gets throughout the entire fight.
Oh yeah.
His face
Takayama.
swole up, something fierce.
Because Don Fry is a fucking machine. There were several times where Takayama had to get cut and examined in his corner. And Don Fry is still just perfect fucking mustache.
I was
Fuck
gonna
yeah,
say-
America.
I was going to say, it's like, you're fighting a dude who's wearing American flag trunks and he's got a Magnum PI mustache. You should know from the jump you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
That
and
man exudes America. You need to put him down. Like there's no going easy. You either knock him out, or
I think
get
that's as
knocked
close
out.
as I think that's as close in real life as we're ever gonna get to Rocky IV.
Oh yeah, but it was Don Fry versus Takayama, and it is the entire fight. Like I said, the only time that they end up clinching up on each other is when one of them is absolutely fucking gassed out, and they are just desperately trying to suck down air so that they can go for another round.
And they're still punching each other in the ear while they're doing it too.
Yep, exactly.
If I could direct your attention to this vision of loveliness here.
Oh Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh sweet Jesus.
He got fucked.
He got fucked up.
Yep. And the thing is that they were complete class acts.
That's why he broke his nose in at least 3 places.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, Takayama ended up passing away early. And when he passed away, Don Fry is one of those people that doesn't seem to fucking age normally. Because Don Fry looks almost exactly the same as when he was in the ring with Takayama. But Don Fry... go ahead.
That's because Father Time is afraid of him.
Yeah. Pretty much, if
the
you
Reaper
had
doesn't
to
want to
pick...
get punched in the nose. That's why.
Yeah, if you had to pick someone from history to square off against Don Fry, you're pretty much going, okay. If
Teddy
it's
Roosevelt.
a stand-up fight, you're talking Teddy Roosevelt or goddamn Jackson.
Battle of the mustaches, man. Don Fry versus the Bull Moose. Let's see it happen.
Yeah. Because the dude is just absolute Americana. And like I said, he goes for just this absolute slug fight against this massive Japanese fighter who has several inches on him. Both of them are fairly built up. And they're just trading punches. You saw the face of Takayama. At the end of the fight, Don Fry's face looks exactly like the beginning of the fight, Don Fry, except he's slightly squinty in his left eye. And they are literally
my sheer manliness,
trading punches.
My sheer manliness and my mustache will keep the swelling down.
Oh yeah, you watch
his mustache is his
and...
own cut, man.
Yeah, you're watching that fight, and you're just thinking, that is unfair. Don Fry's mustache is soaking up those punches. Like it's no fucking problem. The dude is insane.
There are just people out there that can absorb damage. I mean, going back to like Taker versus Foley. Mick Foley, like his body is busted now. Like he knows.
Mm-hmm.
But he just absorbed fucking damage all through his career.
I mean, he was a masochist.
He was
way back.
Like he got popular in it wasn't New Japan, but basically he got popular in Japan, and he got popular as Cactus Jack doing
Dude Love.
No, Dude Love didn't start until WWE or WWF.
WWF,
but like he was Cactus Jack, and he did Japanese death matches. Like that's how he lost his ear.
Oh, no, I'm talking about before he even got into wrestling. He was a man.
Oh yeah, like his little thing where he jumped off the fucking roof onto cardboard
he would literally
boxes.
eat dog food.
Yep, he would do whatever he could to survive. But like these, going back to that Hell in a Cell thing, when I rewatched it, I remember watching it live. After I rewatched it, I forgot how short that match was.
Well, they nearly killed one of the guys. I mean,
well, yeah, but I mean, like, just the setup for it. Like, if everything went the way it was supposed to, and it wasn't supposed to fall like it did when he chokeslammed him on top of the cell, the match was going to be 10 minutes. And come to find out later, Undertaker had a broken fucking ankle, and he climbed the cage not once but twice with a broken ankle. Like, talking about the damage sustained by these people. This is, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, so forgive me. Again, going back to the whole thing being fake. I tell people that the wrestlers are so fucking conditioned that they take injuries that would put football players on the sideline for their careers.
Mm-hmm.
I list off a certain amount of people. I list off Stone Cold Steve Austin. And they're like, so what? I'm like, no, you don't understand. He got his neck broken and walked into a fucking hospital. I bring up Taz. Same thing. He had a broken neck to where the doctor said, how did you get here? And Taz said, I walked in the front door. And the doctor looked at him dead in the face and said, no, you didn't. And Taz was like, yeah, it's on camera. I did it.
I mean, Kurt Angle, Edge, you know, all of them.
Bret Hart was one that I respect over everybody else. The man was a consummate professional until he got fucked over. He was in a house show. And this is before they have the new barriers that are kind of protected and soft, when they had those fucking steel things.
Oh,
Bret Hart had a favorite move that he would do. He would fall on those barricades on his chest underneath his arms.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In a house show, not even filmed. In a house show, he's wrestling Dino Bravo, who by himself was a legitimate strongman, like competed in strongman competitions. Threw him onto the barricade. Bret Hart landed wrong. He shattered his sternum.
Oof.
He fell onto the ground with a shattered sternum without being able to tell Dino Bravo. Dino Bravo came out and started stomping on Bret Hart's chest that had just shattered. Bret Hart wrestled another 15 minutes with a shattered sternum.
Yeah, that and watching that Inside the Ropes with Jericho, he was talking about, was that an Inside the Ropes or was that a different interview?
That might have been Dark Side of the Ring or something.
Well, no, Jericho was talking about how he had a match against Triple H. I can't remember who the other participants were. It was like a tag team match.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when Triple H tore his quad.
Oh yeah, live in the ring.
I watched that one too.
And then he did the walls of Jericho on him with a torn quad on the announcer's table.
Yep.
He's like, "What do you want to do?" He's like, "I'm hurt." He's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" It's like the spot.
Yeah, bring us home.
Yeah. He said even with torn quad, he didn't miss a single spot. You know.
Yep.
Do you guys ever watch boxing?
I mean, from time to time.
I've watched highlights on YouTube.
I'll watch a Canelo fight.
Another fight that is just one of those, holy shit, the durability of this motherfucker.
We're talking about Gotti?
The Wilder versus Fury 1.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys seen Tyson Fury is just a fucking zombie? Because he gets 2 hits to the button. You see this man's soul leave his body as he goes completely goddamn boneless. He hits the ground. You see him, I swear, if you look hard enough, you'll see him just knock out death, re-enter his body, and rise back up like it's no fucking issue. Because
you, Death, I got a match to finish. Do you know how much money I'm getting for this?
Exactly.
Now, see, I thought you were going in a completely different direction. I thought maybe you were going to bring up like Ward Gotti, any one of those fights, or
those are good. But
you know,
Tyson Fury versus Wilder. Wilder had put down fucking damn near everyone that had come up before Tyson Fury. He, like I said, 2 shots straight to the button. Do you guys know what the button is?
It's the spot just underneath the jaw.
Yep, that knockout. Tyson
one of
eats 2 of them. Down he goes, boneless. Up he comes, and then wins the fucking fight. Like it's nothing.
There's one I have seen. It is an old fight, but it is in the record books, and it's Muhammad Ali. And it's the one where he has the record for the most punches thrown in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
I can't remember who he's fighting because it doesn't fucking matter. But he threw 26 punches to this dude's dome and stomach in 30 seconds. He has the world record and knocked that motherfucker out. Like Muhammad Ali was a monster. And then I'm gonna be talking about classics. George Foreman. George Foreman was Tyson before Mike Tyson came to be Tyson. Like he was a big dude that just if he hit you, you were out. If he hit you in the side of the head, you might as well stay down because you're not going to get back up anyway because your legs decided to not work. He threw power, which is why Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman was such a great fight because Foreman was finesse and style. Or not, I'm sorry, Muhammad Ali was finesse and style and Foreman was strength and power. Yep. So you had these two opposing forces and just watching them go. I watched a highlight reel of like the 25 just best knockouts. Tyson was on there twice, and one of them was his return fight after he got out of prison.
Yep,
that poor white dude that lasted 76 seconds, and they showed the hit that took him out. And I was like, you know what? He earned his $10 million. He has no idea where it is, but he earned it. Like it, you just watch these guys' lights just out.
As much as everyone was fans of Tyson when I was growing up, I was a Roy Jones Jr. fan. That's the only dude in CompuBox history that won a boxing round without ever throwing a punch.
One of the absolute best clips of Ali ever, though, is the 21 punches in 10 seconds, where he is up in the corner, nowhere to fucking go. His opponent throws 21 fucking punches. Not a single one connects. And Ali just ends with a wiggle.
The shimmy, yeah.
Nope. He fucking dodged every single one of those, blocked every single one of them, didn't get touched, and then humiliated the guy.
Yep. Like, his hands don't move from the corner ropes. He is knocked back into the corner, grabs the corner ropes, punch, and he's just dodging every single one of them.
Head movement and shoulder slips, yeah.
Yep, head movement, shoulder slips. He's doing Dempsey rolls. I think it's Dempsey rolls. That's when you use the shoulder to deflect the punch, right?
I have no idea.
But there's a name for it. I think it's the Dempsey roll. It's the something roll.
A friend
where
of mine...
you just roll your shoulder and the punch glances off of it and whiffs.
I hate to cut this fun short for me, guys, but I have work in the morning.
No, we actually...
it's 1:30 in the morning. We usually stop about an hour.
Hour and a half to 2 hours in. We've gone 3. So.
We've just had a good fucking time talking.
But I appreciate you guys bringing me on. This has been fun. I haven't streamed with other people like this in a long time. Like the last stream I did was the game show thing with Quippers. So that was fun, but this has been a blast, you guys. You have no idea.
Actually, I was telling Camel before you popped in that I was going to ask you last week, actually, to join before Jack asked you. And I'm like, nah, he's probably not going to join in. And then I saw that you were on Quippers, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. Like who's going on there?
If I can make it, I will definitely let you guys know. But like, this has been so much fun. You guys are awesome, and I want to thank you very much for having me on.
No, it's a pretty much open door for me. So like, if we're streaming and you want in, just let me know.
All right,
and I do like. Just a final touching point for the Roy Jones Jr. thing. A friend of mine tried to get me into introducing me into boxing, and the one clip that he showed me that he's like, I have to show you this, is the side commentator going like, well, I'm not one to lip read, but I think he just called him his bitch.
Oh, and one quick correction, because I just looked it up. The Dempsey roll is not the thing that I'm thinking. The Dempsey roll is the one where you're just throwing punches with a figure eight of the torso. It's a different one. That's the shoulder roll.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, so yeah,
Do you mind if I shill myself real quick?
Yeah,
Then
go
we
ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right. So again, thank you for joining me. Or thank you for letting me join you. My name is Matt. I am the owner of HFTG Archives. I do fun things where I point out stupidity on the internet and make fun of it and try and educate people doing it. And I think I'm fucking hilarious doing it. You can catch me. I try and upload regularly. I promise I do. Right now it's about once a month because I have other stuff I'm doing as well. But it's HFTG Archives. If you guys want to follow me, I appreciate it. And if you guys have anything that you want me to cover, I usually have an email address that you can reach me at, or you can just DM me on Twitter. And my Twitter is MatthewVH58, I think. I don't know what my own fucking Twitter handle is. But if you follow me, I warn you now, you're going to see a lot of stupidity, and you're going to see me calling out a lot of idiots. So if you don't like seeing red pill content, just a warning. But thank you again, guys. This was awesome.
All right. And yeah, any parting thoughts?
Don't become red pill, because if you do, I'm going to come after you, and you're not going to like it.
All right. Sanguine?
Let Sanguine go.
I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
Camel?
There are two types of people in this world. Those that can extrapolate from incomplete data.
Nice.
And I was going to close with the joke I was going to talk about earlier, but yeah, I'll save that one for next time. But I will go with my standard. I don't like pain. It hurts me. It's a nice Daffy Duck quote there. But with that, the zoo is closed. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, all.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.